episodes.
Okay.
With cold, blunt analysis cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's time for the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
Hey, everybody, how's it going? Let me switch this thing back here. All right, I have KTZED.
Hello.
We're here for another live stream. I'm Johnny Walker Dread, and KT, why don't you tell them about your channel?
Sure. My channel is KTZED on YouTube, Rumble, all of the things. It's just KTZED, and I cover crime stuff. During the week, I cover a lot of body cam videos where we make fun of stupid criminals, and then on Sundays at 7:30 Eastern, I cover like really atrocious crime stuff. We did a mass murder yesterday, rapes, murders, that sort of stuff. So
now you're running out of dumb criminals to cover, right?
No, there's not a short supply of dumb criminals to cover. There's always new ones popping up, as a matter of fact.
So how many subscribers do you have right now?
Over, I think like 5,500 maybe.
Okay.
I haven't checked lately.
I'm closing out on 2,000. We're getting there slowly.
Well, you know what though? When I first subscribed to your channel, you had like 800. So you're growing for sure.
Oh yeah, it's growing steadily. I mean, it's doing a little exponential sort of curve, but it's pretty slow exponential, but it's getting there.
Yeah, I just looked up my numbers. I have 5,691. Hopefully your audience will subscribe to me. I can get to 5,700 tonight if 9 people subscribe.
Well, I'm Johnny Walker Dread. I think a lot of people piling in probably don't know me, or they have probably seen me in the chats for your show here, but I have my own channel. I am easily the most prolific YouTuber on the Kenosha shootings. I have over 400 videos on Kyle Rittenhouse. And in fact, I just interviewed Dominic Black last week. He was the best friend of Kyle who loaned him the rifle that night. And he's encountered a lot of misery and struggles. And we talked. And so
you've also interviewed Kyle's family and
Wendy and the sisters. And in fact, I used to help Kyle's sister with her homework.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. Kyle. And then we, a couple of witnesses, Grambo, as everybody knows from the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, has been on my show a number of times. And so has Photo Chad, Nate DeBruin.
He seems awesome. When I saw him on the stand, I was thinking he seems like a guy I could talk to.
It's amazing because I always kind of considered him kind of a milquetoast, timid kind of person. And then all of a sudden he launches into James Krause. And I'm like, whoa, I don't want to get on the wrong side of Nate.
Yeah.
I think I've interviewed a large percentage of the people that were involved in the trial. I'd like to get a hold of Ryan Balch, but I have not had any chance at that. The other thing I do is I torment Rashad Ritchie, and I have over 100 videos on Rashad, who I consider a true blue idiot.
He's dumb.
oh my gosh, he's really, really stupid.
I don't know how the Young Turks still let him put their name on. Like he's such an idiot that I just can't imagine that network would want to have anything to do with him anymore.
And he's going to get him sued at some point because he's so sloppy and biased, and he's a real hate-filled
racist. Yeah, he's a racist.
Blatantly racist. And so I have over 100 videos on him, and I expose his false academic background. I love to go through his LinkedIn, check out the degrees he claims, and then destroy them. And that is a lot of fun because he's very inventive in that. But and by the way, I don't know if anybody knows it, but he has threatened to sue me in my comment section.
I knew that. We have a group chat together where I'm the dumbest person in there, but we do talk about that sort of stuff in there.
He threatened to challenge. He challenged me to a debate on physics, and like he didn't realize at the time that I'm a physicist.
Yeah.
So once he found out, that was kind of the end of that, and he just
Yeah.
turned tail and took off.
They were
Yeah.
having a conversation about like quantum physics or something in the group chat the other day. I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. I'm definitely not smart enough for this chat. I have no idea what's
But
happening.
at least you can spell quantum.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if Rashad can. But yeah, so and I also have a lot of, I would say, busting the myth of police brutality. I do a lot of those shows. So if any of these things interest you, go on over to my channel and subscribe. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, if you're here right now from my channel, please hit the subscribe button. And hey, if you watch a few of Johnny's videos and you hate them, you can unsubscribe. It's free. Like, just give him give him a trial period. Give him a 2-week trial period.
No, if they unsubscribe, I'll hunt them down. I'll find out where they are. What do you mean unsubscribe? You filled me with this false hope.
Also,
I was
by the
feeling so
way,
good.
the like button is free, so hit that
Yeah,
too.
that's right. But yeah, go on there and subscribe. I have about 1,900 subscribers now, and I've been at it
Mhm.
for 5 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could use a little bump there. Okay. So tonight we're talking about Karmelo Anthony, and this has been the rage. This is almost like Kyle Rittenhouse level of, not propaganda. I mean, well, that's part of it, but
Mhm.
the, I don't know, the brouhaha over this has just exploded.
Yeah.
And
It's
and
everywhere.
yeah, and you know why,
Yeah,
right? I
because of
mean,
the
it's
races of the people involved.
absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely, and what a shame, because
Mhm.
you see this happen. Some kid gets stabbed, and everybody gets fixated on, the race thing. Well, you have one kid who's going to be facing prison,
Yeah.
another kid's dead, and nobody cares about them.
That's what I said when I covered this case on my channel, is that not only do I feel bad for the family, I covered all of the interviews that the family did just that week after it happened. The dad and then the mom and the brother had an interview, and I feel your heart goes out to those people. It's just broken for them. But then you think about Carmelo Anthony's parents as well, and they're going to lose their child as well. People don't think of that.
Yeah, and they have made a huge mistake recently in the
Mhm.
hiring of a certain character.
Mm,
And we're
yep.
going to cover a lot of his stuff tonight
Yep.
because, in my opinion, and this is, in my opinion, the fault of the attorney.
Yeah.
You've never allowed this to happen.
Yeah.
So we're going to cover that quite a bit tonight as well. Let's see here. Let's just go ahead and show one here. Yeah, absolutely. Good deal. Good deal. All right, let's take a look at this. And the first thing we're going to do, and I was only half joking when I told you that. I'm going to read the article first because once I get enough of this down me, reading's hard, because I'm reading through sunglasses.
Reading
So
is hard. I
I'm
get
going to
it.
read first here. And oh, by the way, do you want to tell them what you're downing tonight?
It's my very last. People from my Booze and Body Cam show knows this is my last Happy Thursday drink, and this is a mango passion fruit one, and it's my last like canned beverage. So I'm gonna have to go to Aldi and get some more Vista Bays before Wednesday.
When you described it, it sounded like syrup.
It's not. It's only got, well, it does have 130 calories. It's like drinking a can of soda, I guess.
Mhm. Oh, before I forget, I did have my computer shut down on me like a couple of days ago. If it happens, hang around. It takes me about 2 minutes to come back in.
I'll entertain the
So
crowd if that happens.
yeah, there you go. I'll do a little. Okay, now this one's a dog.
I'll do a little song and dance.
So tonight I'm downing Koval. This is my favorite. This is around $50, but
Yeah.
it is probably about the best whiskey I've ever had. So anyway, that's what I'm drinking tonight. So let's go ahead and turn on this this show here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to read an article, and I'm going to warn everybody. You could end up punching the screen as I
That's
read
what you
this.
said. Yeah.
This is about as bad as it gets. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, I am not really good at this, but I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. Once I got one of them open, it becomes pretty easy. So this is Black Enterprise Magazine, okay? And they're going to talk about Carmelo Anthony pictured here in his graduation outfit. And then, of course, we have Austin Metcalf, and we found the thuggiest picture we could find, and we stuck it in there.
Which he doesn't even look thuggy in it. He looks like he's from a teen girl magazine or whatever. Like
Right, but it is the thuggiest they could find.
He looks like Leonardo DiCaprio from back in the day, you know.
Yeah, and I always get criticized. You shouldn't use that word thug. I'll use whatever word I want.
It's your channel. You're allowed to do that.
Absolutely. So it says, if we're asking who taught Karmelo Anthony, we must also ask what kind of parents raised Austin Metcalf. You know where this is going, right? Yep. So they're going to train their guns on Austin's parents here. Why? Well, they're mad about the way that Anthony or Karmelo is being treated.
By the way, Austin Metcalf's dad came out immediately and said, do not turn this into a race thing. You know, he gave forgiveness immediately. He seems to be doing all the right things and trying to make it not into a race thing. And they're still trying to turn it into a race thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hold that thought. Hang on here. It starts, I'm not trying to judge, but what kind of parents did this child have? That was what Jeff Metcalf said, right? When this thing first happened, right? So his kid gets stabbed to death by another kid. And the first thing he says, so what kind of parents, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of us would say the same thing.
Great question.
Metcalf, a white high school student from Texas, was fatally stabbed during a confrontation with another student, and we all know Karmelo Anthony, who's black. The incident occurred during a track meet in Frisco, that's in Texas, North Texas. I'm somewhat familiar with the town, where reports suggest the altercation began after Metcalf attempted to remove Anthony from an area under his school's tent. Okay, and I think pretty much everybody kind of knows that.
Yeah.
We don't care about the bond, although that was a big brouhaha that shouldn't have been. I have no issue with them lowering the bond.
I said the same thing. I thought I was the only person on Twitter that did not have a problem with them lowering the bond. Everyone else was like all up in arms. And I'm like, why? They do that all like, first of all, it wasn't premeditated that we know of. He didn't go there he didn't know this kid ahead of time. He didn't plan to murder somebody that day. So it makes sense that they lowered the bond.
Yeah, and there's a little chance that he's going to be able to like skip bail and stay away from the law for very long, right? Yeah. I mean, now keep in mind, Kyle Rittenhouse did $2 million bond. They seem to forget that, but
they don't care about that.
Yeah, they wanted him to not have any.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Okay, and Metcalf's father went on television and asked, "What was he taught?" He brought a knife to a track meet and he murdered my son by stabbing him in the heart. Okay, that's what he thinks.
Mm-hmm.
As the father, he's allowed to think that.
Yes.
It's a familiar script, the suspicion, the blame. Yeah, the scrutiny of the other child's upbringing. Okay, but it goes down. But I wonder, what if we turned that question around? What kind of parents raised Austin Metcalf? And this is the perfect embodiment of two wrongs don't make a right.
It's projection.
Well, I mean, like they're making fun of Karmelo, or they're criticizing Carmelo's parents, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's wrong. It's wrong. That doesn't mean you get to do that to Jeff Metcalf. It's just like they're looking for an excuse to be able to do this.
I disagree. I don't think it's wrong to question how Karmelo Anthony was raised. When somebody gets stabbed at a track meet, it's a good question to say, well, how was this kid raised?
Well,
I think it's an okay question.
What I was referring to was like the stories that have been emanating out about the parents that were unfounded, or maybe they're true, but come on, you got to find out first.
Yeah.
Okay. Because whenever a black youth is killed, the country performs its well-rehearsed ritual of digging into their home life, school performance, their behavior, their photos, their parents. They do this to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The dude that took a shot at the president, guess what? They looked into his parents.
Yeah, and his school life and his home life, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. America never mourns the loss of black life, right? Because whenever a black person is killed, nobody seems to pay any attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, we never protest,
No.
take to the streets, and
No, we've never set whole cities on fire for in the year 2020 for that. Not at all.
Mhm. So where did Austin Metcalf's parents go wrong? This kind of presumes that Austin's at fault, right? Oh my gosh. What kind of household raises a boy like Austin? A boy who, according to witnesses,
Which witnesses?
yeah, used a racial slur during the
Car- as far as I know, Karmelo is the only person that says that this happened. Because apparently that's a get out of jail free card. Well, he said a word that I didn't like, so I stabbed him.
Did even Karmelo say it?
I don't know where that even came.
I don't think even he said it. I mean, it's new to me.
And even if he did, it's a word. It's a word. And if you are so sensitive about a word in the English language that you're going to murder someone, you have issues, not the guy that said the word.
It goes on. What kind of parents raise a child who allegedly called another student the N-word? Reports circulating on social media, because you can always trust that, suggest that Metcalf hurled that word at Anthony.
Man, that allegedly in that first sentence is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
It always does. If true, that wasn't just a word. It was a weapon. No, it's a word.
It's still a word.
A centuries-old threat. A verbal heirloom of white dominance, sharpened to remind Black children of their place in American society. All this from an alleged claim that I have never even seen.
I don't know which witnesses said this.
Yeah, it's not in the police report.
No, it's not. Yeah, absolutely. I assumed it came from Karmelo, and that's an assumption on my part.
And this raises the thing that we were talking about before the show started, is that, the police come and they go in and they start to interview people, right? And what they hear from these witnesses, they put in the police report.
Yeah.
If you didn't go to the police and tell them what you saw, your description of what happened is going to be very suspect. Because when you go on the stand, they're going to shred you. Why didn't you tell the police this? Why are you coming out after the fact?
Yes.
And we saw this before with Michael Brown.
Well, and like Kenosha Cat says in the chat, they didn't want to say that a skateboard was a weapon, but now a word is a weapon. What? Yeah.
And by the way, Kenosha Cat is Dominic Black's mom.
Oh, hello, Dominic Black's mom.
I've been conversing with her for, I think, pretty much since the trial. Wonderful lady. Okay, let's see here. Okay. But when confronted with that possibility, Austin's father went on TV and said, "This is not a race thing. This is not a political thing. How dare he?"
Yeah.
And there it is, folks. The white American default. Erase race the moment it becomes inconvenient. It was never supposed to be an issue to begin with.
The day after Austin Metcalf's dad was saying, this is not a race thing. This is a human thing. So it's like nobody's bringing up race but them. I mean, I guess the pundits and, Twitter people are bringing up race, but the family and the police are not.
No, I mean, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody that matters brought it up.
Exactly.
Some 14-year-old kid in his basement might be talking to others about it, but who cares? You're never going to stop that.
I might have brought it up on my channel, but I'm nobody, so that doesn't matter what I say.
So you're the one they're complaining about.
They are. But I always say I'm not a journalist, so I just get on the internet and talk about crimes and stuff.
Okay, we'll skip down a little bit. What kind of white parents raised a boy who reportedly put his hands on another student and tried to police where he could sit at a school event? You don't get to stab somebody for that.
Yeah.
A boy who, along with his twin, posed proudly in multiple photos holding what appears to be, oh no, the AR-15.
They were hunting. They were hunting those photos.
They were dressed in camo. I'm like, they were dressed in camo?
Yeah. Yeah, their father said they took the boys hunting the weekend before this happened, and he was so happy to have had the time with his sons. They were literally hunting. I don't know what they were hunting. I did they say they were hunting hogs, or is that just a figment of my imagination? But either way, they were
Well,
hunting.
hogs would make sense in Texas because the AR-15 is a very good hog killer.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the best. Here they are. They were
And
staring
also,
coldly.
who
and
doesn't
dead-eyed.
have an AR-15, really?
Yeah, I mean, I've got two of them.
I mean, I lost mine in a boating accident, but yeah.
Oh no, that's terrible. Man, I like to find out where that lake is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some dredging. And by the way, in that photograph, they were staring coldly and dead-eyed into the camera.
What? Okay.
Well, right. I mean, what kind of how else can you look into? How else can you appear in a photograph other than dead-eyed?
I do want to point something out that I just noticed in this article.
What's
They,
that?
when they're using the word black as a descriptor, they're capitalizing it. But when they use the word white in this paragraph, they're not capitalizing it. And I just think that's interesting for a journal, or like an actual journalist, editor, or something like that, to do that. That's done on purpose, is what I'm saying.
I think that might even be a style for like AP or something like that. It's so ingrained.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, the posture of these kids show that they have already decided who the enemy is.
Obviously.
Mhm.
Posture's a big thing.
They're probably saying, yeah, we're hogs because that's what we were killing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There are also social media posts circulating online of Metcalf flashing the middle finger and showing off weapons. And this is what's hilarious. Because
Wait a minute. I haven't seen those photos. I've seen Karmelo Anthony posing with weapons and flipping off a camera. I have not seen any. Yeah, those are the pictures I saw. Yes. I have not seen any of Austin Metcalf flipping off the camera.
Okay. So now why do you think this happened here?
I don't know.
I think what happened was this journalist is just coming off of what she heard, and she got the names confused.
Yeah, like when Kyle Rittenhouse killed 3 black people in Kenosha by shooting them from behind.
Yeah, we're going to have a video clip of that, by the way.
Shooting them in the back. That's what I heard anyway.
But you won't see those images in the mainstream media. That's because I don't think they existed.
I don't think they exist either. If they existed, they would be all over the internet.
There, Austin is presented in his Sunday best. Smiling in a suit and tie, standing beside his father, or captured mid-stride, as a wholesome student athlete. Because when white boys die, their image is curated, softened, sanitized. Hang on.
The projection in this article is incredible. This is incredible. Okay.
I mean, okay, I will admit there's a reason why when you see these victims, if you want to call them victims, this guy's not a victim. He's an absolute thug. But when you see these pictures, they're always in the graduation gowns. And the reason why is the police always ask for a picture that they can show, or the media does. And what do you think the parents are going to give them? They go to they dig out the picture of their boy and their
Trayvon Martin when he was 12. Like, you know.
Hang on. How did you know?
Yes, because that's Yeah.
I mean, that's what they do.
Yep.
So it's not really the media's fault so much. It's not like they ask, hey, we want a good picture, a really clean one. This is what the parents give them.
The media has social media, and they could do a little Google search of this person's social media and pull up a photo if they really wanted to.
Oh, sure.
It is blame the media. It's the media's fault.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I go along with that. But when black boys die, their worst photos are resurrected. And I think that is a total lie.
Yeah. It's the opposite for sure.
What kind of mother and father raise a child who feels entitled to dictate another student's place under a tent at a school event?
It's not his school.
Okay, well, here's the thing. and I actually was going to put out a video on this, and I can even ask the question here, and I'll do it a little bit later. But if you are, first of all, yes, it's school property, but it's your tent.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what your team paid for, and it's what you spent the time erecting.
They have the teams separated for a reason. Like, what if they were strategizing on the next relay race or something like that? They don't want somebody from the other team in there.
But this is also competition. These are sporting events.
Yeah.
You look upon the person from the other school as kind of like, subhuman. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if I have my Oklahoma Sooners tent and I see somebody from a Texas Longhorn fan sitting underneath it, get out. Yep. Probably not really, but these are, I'm old enough to kind of know better.
There's a reason why the sidelines are separated at football games. Yeah. They're not all next to each other.
And these are 17-year-olds. They take this competition thing pretty seriously. So I don't see anything ridiculous about a track star from one team throwing another team thing out from underneath this tent.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, I don't know what Karmelo's reaction was when they told him, hey, you got to leave.
We do know what his reaction was. His reaction was, make me.
Yeah, I
touch
agree.
me and see what happens. That was his reaction.
Say. That was what the witnesses say. Yeah. And by the way, the witnesses told the police this.
Yeah.
Probably could be trusted, but not always.
Immediately, this was what was reported. Immediately.
Right. They didn't, formulate this thing, an hour or two afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh, and let's see who taught him that his body, his voice, his dominance would not be questioned, and that a black boy who didn't obey was a threat.
He was the team leader, from what I understood. So he would be the one to say, if the coach wasn't there, he would be the one to say, hey, you're in the wrong spot. Your tent is over there, buddy.
Even if Karmelo letting him sit underneath the tent was no big deal, at 17-year-old, you could sometimes take these things a little too seriously.
Yeah.
And when the coach would say, hey, man, come on, just lighten up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So maybe Austin was a little bit aggressive in it, but at 17 years old, they take the sports thing very seriously. I can see it happening. It doesn't make him an evil person.
Exactly. Yep. Well, according to the Black Enterprise News magazine, yes, evil. And his parents were evil. So his whole family, probably generations.
I must apologize. The Black Enterprise magazine did a great job here. Listen to this. To be clear, there's also a fake autopsy report circulating online claiming that Austin Metcalf had drugs in his system when he died. That report is false, and spreading it is wrong. We don't need to stoop to misinformation to make a point. Pretty great, isn't it? They're coming out and saying, hey, there's one magazine that's not going to allow any propaganda on its pages. It's Black Enterprise.
Yeah.
They comb through and they say, wait, this could be incorrect. We got to get rid of it because we don't spread propaganda here. Okay. Well, hey, by the way, look, they even have a video on this. Let's go and check this out.
Okay.
They said the cause of death was a drug overdose. And he had blood loss via stab wounds. But they're saying he died from a drug overdose, allegedly. This is the autopsy.
Was he George Floyd?
So he was high out his mind and decided to go mess with that boy Karmelo Anthony, who was minding his business, sitting down, minding his business, taking pictures, posting guns, throwing up gang signs.
Okay.
What? Gang signs?
In their article where they say we disavow any kind of propaganda, they put a video.
They embed a video of propaganda.
Very
lovely.
Can you believe this?
Lovely. By the way, that's not a gang sign. That means I love you.
Oh yeah, if that's a gang sign, then it's the biggest gang in the world.
Yeah.
And but keep in mind, this was not accidental. They put this in there for a reason, because they know that people don't always read a lot, especially their subscribers. They don't necessarily read a lot, and they're just going to pick on the video. And they're going to now take this and they're going to go to other outlets and say he had drugs in his system.
Yep.
That's who we're dealing with. Oh my God. And
They
anyway,
mentioned George Floyd in this. I said that. I'm like, what is he, George Floyd? He died of a drug
everybody,
overdose.
she did not go through this beforehand.
Wow.
You're good. How many times have we been told that a black victim had marijuana in their system, as if that makes a bullet or a chokehold more acceptable?
No, but fentanyl does. Consuming a
They said
fistful of fentanyl definitely.
they said George Floyd had fentanyl in his bloodstream and heart disease. Well, they're trying to
8
find
times what would kill a
Yeah.
normal person, I believe
But
it
e-
was.
but
This is
even
just
if-
from my noggin, but I believe
even
it
if
was
it
either
was a
4 or
small
8
amount or even
times.
no amount. The reason why they're looking is because they're trying to find out why he died.
Yeah, he said he couldn't breathe before when he was in the back of the cop car. He said he couldn't breathe.
Yeah, I'll skip the Eric Garner one because I don't remember that one too much. I kind of know what it's about.
That was the cigarette one. Was that
Yeah,
the one
the
that
New
was
York City
selling
one,
loose cigarettes or something? Yeah, I don't. It was a long time ago.
They dug into Breonna Taylor's past, looking for anything that could explain why she was shot in her own home, because they wanted
I
to
just
find out
covered
the
that
warrant.
case. I literally just covered that case on my channel like 2 weeks ago.
I have
Because
about
she was
4
a
videos
cuckoo
on it.
bird. That's why.
Mhm. But they're trying to find out if the warrant was legit. That's why they're looking into it.
Yeah.
You know, this is investigative journalism. Sorry. Sometimes when you do investigative journalism, the stuff comes back that's not very comfortable.
You know what I just realized? It wasn't Breonna Taylor that I covered. It was another woman that
Oh,
got
really?
shot in her home.
Yeah, I
can't
have a
remember her
number of
name right
videos
now.
on Breonna Taylor. And by the way, Breonna Taylor is a perfect example of the hypocrisy, because I bet you don't know about the what was it, the name of that street?
Didn't the
It's in
cop
Houston.
go to get charged with that for
Yeah.
for shooting into an unoccupied, like it went through a wall or something like that?
Right.
I
It was
believe
for reckless something. I forget. But
the police officer was charged in that case.
what a lot of people don't realize is that in Houston,
Mhm.
the police busted into with a no-knock warrant, shot the family dog, and shot both people dead. And the warrant was faked. The actual the cop claimed that he had information from an informant that did not exist, and they ended up killing 2 people and a dog over it.
So I didn't hear about this. Let me guess. The people were white. That
the
this
people were
happened to?
white, and you want
Yeah.
to guess the color of the officers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, of course I hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah. Right. And look, I mean, I'm not making any claims that any one race is more prone to anything, right? But in terms of fairness here, they're trying to make the claim that we exacerbate whenever we hear of a black person being a instigator. No, it's just the opposite. I can't even remember the names of the people involved. And I'm sure
Also,
that
I've read the FBI crime statistics. Some people are more prone to these things than others.
I'm not making any claims on it. I'm saying that that's not.
You don't have to. I am. That's fine.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, freedom of speech. But you know what it's like? This idea somehow that, I'll give you another example. Kid is playing with his Wii in Georgia. You should know about this one. He's playing with his Wii, right? The little game thing.
Yeah.
Cop knocks on the door looking to serve a warrant on his dad. He opens it up. She shoots him dead.
Wow.
17. He was going into the military. He had signed up. He wanted to go into the Marine Corps. And all he had was a Wii controller in his hand.
We don't hear about these cases. There's a reason we don't hear about these cases.
Yeah. In fact, one of the things my early videos was always in comparison. Here's a case involving a black person. Here's a case involving a white person. Why do we hear about one more than the other?
Because we don't have the say her name campaigns going on.
Exactly.
And the burning down of cities going on.
Oh, by the way, for your sovereign citizen one, KFAR might know about this one, but when the police shot a sovereign citizen dead outside a dog shelter, have you seen that one?
I don't recall off the top. There's so many cases rattling around in my head.
Yeah, but it was in Alabama. The police officer, a female police officer, pulled a gun, stuck it in the guy's stomach, and pulled the trigger. And he had no chance because
Yeah.
the gas is blowing out of that gun. It's
Yeah.
just going to scramble everything inside him.
Yeah.
And he was a sovereign citizen, and his crime was he wouldn't give up his driver's license.
Wow.
And that was one of my very first videos. And I wonder if KFAR knows about it, but he was doing the whole sovereign citizen thing. Right?
Yeah.
But the case in Atlanta where they burned the Wendy's down,
I remember that one.
well, they mirrored each other almost perfectly.
Really?
But we didn't hear about one, and we heard a lot about the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so at any rate, let's get down with some really good stuff here. I don't know if there's more on here, but you can go and find the link in the description and read it yourself here. But I want to get, here we go. Are they kind of white parents who share back the blue post and said Kyle Rittenhouse was just protecting himself when he brought a weapon of war to a protest? Good God.
He brought a weapon to protect the businesses that were being burned down the 3 previous days before. Or was it
He was just protecting himself.
Yeah. He didn't bring it to the protest. He brought it to the business that he was protecting because there was a protest in the area.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, so here we go. And I'm sure you have seen this dude.
Yeah.
Fair and public trial is fully respected.
Now, this is not the press conference that everybody has seen. This is a prior one.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen this one.
That absolutely. We have the full permission and trust of the Anthony family and authorized for the Next Generation Action Network to speak today.
I play this one because he's saying here, we have the authorization from Karmelo Anthony's family for me to do this.
Yep.
So he's a spokesperson. They can't come in and later say, oh, well, we didn't know what he was going to say.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So now let's go to the next one.
That dude's just there for the money, by the way.
Oh,
he does not give a crap.
He's an absolutely reprehensible creature.
We cannot allow racism and bigotry to divide us. We cannot allow white America to decide when and how Black people can speak up against oppression. We do not pull the race card. We live it. Yes, this case is a tragedy.
All right, let's go to the next one. Just kind of hold your thoughts for a moment.
As we know it right now, Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony did not know each other. They did not know each other. Let's stop it. They were not at a party together. Let's stop the lies regarding this situation.
Okay, so the first case, he's saying the racial divide. We need to come together.
Yep.
Okay, what is he doing though?
Driving a wedge in between everyone and not pronouncing the victim's name correctly is a little ridiculous for the spokesperson of the family of the person who killed the person.
And the crazy thing is, he pronounces it Metcalf every time. I mean,
how did this guy get a job as a spokesperson? He can't even read.
I mean, and Metcalf is not even a common name.
Yeah, right? Metcalf is a very common name.
Well, by the way, people have dug into this dude's past. That's coming. I think a lot of your viewers already know about it, but this guy is a real work of art. Let's go ahead and there.
We will not allow our communities to go under attack. We know that when people see a white and a Black man in an unfortunate situation happen, that race always become a factor in that situation. And it's really because people don't want to really have a conversation about racial reconciliation in this country. In the current climate that we live in, where racism and bigotry is at the forefront, we don't really want to have these conversations. And so,
any comments?
No, I mean, I'll hold my comments till the end, but this, oh man.
Well, I'll
he's
tell you
saying it's just so much projection from this side.
Oh.
They're saying all the things that they're doing, like the racial division and like all of it. It's just.
Hang on, I tell you here. he got paid to say it wrong. I don't know if he got paid to say it wrong. I think he's just twisting the knife by mispronouncing it on purpose.
I think so too.
Yeah. How would you translate what he's saying here? I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah.
What he's saying is, even in cases where race was not an issue, we should make it one.
Yeah.
We should have that conversation. In his mind, whenever a black person and a white person get in conflict, race has to be raised.
Which is crazy because it happens the opposite way that it happens the way it did here way more often than it happens the opposite way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, here we go.
So I don't think they want that conversation. They only want that conversation when it's convenient for them.
And if it's not convenient, attack the victim.
Yeah. And honestly, in this case, I don't think the actual crime itself had anything to do with race. I think it had to do with teenage hormones, to be fair.
Think about it this way. Austin Metcalf is on the track team. You don't think he doesn't have black teammates?
He was like the captain of the football team too.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that there are probably some black players on the team. Right?
I would love for them to find some sort of witness that says that he was racist, like somebody who actually knew him beforehand, before that day.
By the way,
I doubt they would find anyone at all.
I do have a video of one of Austin's best friends that went on and talked about Austin.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we'll have time to get to it because, it's
because we talk too much.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is.
Okay. Let's see what this one is.
But today's meeting was solely about the threats that have been going towards their home and ensuring that there is a fair and impartial investigation going on. And I want the public to know that our organization, along with attorneys, are doing everything they can to make sure that race is not a factor in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, by injecting race into it.
Exactly. Exactly that.
By the way, one of my last videos, I went and looked into his organization. And it turns out that he co-founded this organization, the NGAN, with this woman that became his girlfriend, and then he beat the living hell out of her. So the co-founder of NGAN was beaten the hell out of by this dude.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you're interested in that, go to my channel. I did this like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Okay, let's see here. Maybe we might have some. Oh, yeah. I think he picked up the other kid's book bag and kind of shoved it against his chest, as the kids would do, and said, "Get out of here." I mean, that actually makes sense. I mean, I could see that happening, right?
Yeah.
The idea that he just came and started swinging on Karmelo is
yelling the N-word, swinging on him.
Yeah. I mean, that's right out of a movie.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. We got one more here. Okay, I am so sorry, but Dominic's mother has made a point here. I kept calling her son Dominique, which is the female pronunciation.
Yeah, it is.
I feel bad about it because somebody alerted to me like you're calling
Dominic,
dude. Like, oh, crap, right? But I think this person is named Dominique.
By the way, Kenosha Cat, please keep bringing that up every time you're in Johnny's chat. Thank you.
Okay, so let's see here.
75 people they say they interviewed, did they say anything about video was?
Yes,
recorded?
they have collected video.
So it is video of the incident.
Yes, they have collected video.
Okay, so here's what's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He is saying that the police have collected video of the stabbing.
Wonderful.
Right?
Great news.
Why aren't you going out here and saying, "Hey, I've seen the video and I'm telling you Karmelo is innocent"?
I don't think he's seen the video.
Oh, I think he's kind of claiming he did.
Yeah.
Well, certainly the lawyer would have told him.
I bet the video makes him look really bad. I think the
mean-
video is really bad for them. If
You
they're
have- I mean, I'm a lawyer for the accused. The accused, his name is being dragged through the mud. This could really taint the jury pool.
yeah,
And I have a video that shows that my client is innocent.
yeah,
I am going to tell the world. I'm going to tell them, look, the video shows that my client is innocent. And when you see the video, you're going to be embarrassed.
yep,
But
yeah.
they're not saying that. And that's not good. In fact, at no point does this dude in both press conferences say Karmelo is innocent.
He says it's self-defense.
No, I think he says that Karmelo is claiming self-defense. I don't think this.
He doesn't say it was self-defense.
No, I don't think he ever said Karmelo acted in self-defense.
Wow.
He said, in fact, I distinctly remember him saying the claim is that it was self-defense.
Okay.
Pretty weak. Okay.
They need to fire this guy.
Oh. Okay, let's see here.
Yes.
Why did this young man have a gun? Excuse me, why did this young man have a knife on his person?
Okay, so the question was, why did he have a knife on him?
It's a very good question. Although I have a knife on me most
I
of the
cannot
time
speak
and
to
a
that
gun.
in regards to that. I can't speak to that because I believe that, first of all, even if I had the answer to that or whatever, I wouldn't say it because that's a part of his defense. And I think there's going to be an appropriate time where they're going to speak to what was going on.
What kind of bothers me about this, and the reason why I played it is this seems like a very uncomfortable question for him.
Yeah, he's getting a little squirmy, huh?
Yeah. I mean, now keep in mind, Kyle Rittenhouse had an AR-15 with him.
Yeah.
Right. And Karmelo had a knife.
Yeah.
But Kyle was showing his gun to everybody as a deterrent, right? Don't mess with me. I'm armed.
Which, by the way, is the dumbest way to carry a gun. Open carrying is the dumbest way to carry a gun,
Well,
in my opinion.
He can't conceal carry.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah.
So the AR-15 open carry was about the only thing he really could have done, other than maybe using a shotgun. But a shotgun would have probably ended up not being too good for him that night. But so, and the reason why I bring this up is one of my latest videos. I ask, why didn't Karmelo show Austin the knife? Pull it out. Hey, sucker! Look what I got.
Yeah.
Instead, Austin had no idea that he was in danger.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a problem for me.
Yeah, a lot of people, I guess you would say, on our side, although I don't like, I like to look at each case as a separate entity. I don't go with a side just because it's my side. But most of the people who are on our side with this case have the question, why did he even have a knife? I don't even have that big of a problem with him having a knife. It's the fact that he used the knife in the way that he did, if that makes sense. I think everybody has the right to be armed.
Well, okay,
even Karmelo Anthony.
There are rumors that he had been suspended for possessing the knife before. I don't know if those are true. Yeah. If I'm the defense attorney, I think I can work that. I could say, hey, he always carries a knife.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is even if it was against the school rules and the whatever rules of the stadium, I still think I think those rules are dumb, and I think he should be able to have a knife.
Well, okay. So the law in Texas is it's 5.5 inches. If it is 5.5 inches or larger,
inches is a huge. Usually it's like 3 inches in most places, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty good sized knife.
Yeah, it is. That's like that's a huge.
I don't think he's been charged for the knife, so it indicates to me that the knife probably wasn't that big.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, everybody's got a pocket knife. Where I live, everybody's got a pocket knife on them all the time. So
right, now keep in mind the pocket knives I'm used to, folding knives, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If he had enough time to open a blade on one of those, then I think he could have left the scene without having to stab somebody.
Oh yeah.
A pocket knife is not a very good weapon.
We don't know what kind of knife he had, do we?
No.
Yeah.
Now, it said it was a black knife. That's all we've heard.
Do we know if it was a fixed blade or a...
Well, again, I think that if it was like a folding pocket knife, I just don't see that. I mean, I would think, but then again, he had it in his bag. It
Well,
wasn't
I'm
in his
wondering if he
pocket.
had like a K-bar knife or something like that, like a fixed blade,
The Gurkha
like
knife or something.
yeah.
I don't know. And I'm surprised that we don't have pictures of it. You would have thought that that would have been released because the
Well,
picture of the weapon is almost always broadcast.
I'm worried. Well, I'm not worried, but I wouldn't be surprised if this case is not broadcast at all because of the age of the accused.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
I'm
that wouldn't
hoping that
stop
it's
Rittenhouse.
I'm hoping that it goes the way a lot of these big cases go where we can watch the whole thing, but and
I don't think it's
dissect
going
it
to go
for
to
ourselves.
trial. I don't think it's going to go to trial. They're going to offer him a plea deal down to manslaughter. He'll take it because
Yeah.
the evidence is overwhelming, and that'll be the end of it.
Well, and
He'll
I
get
don't
10
have a
years.
problem with a manslaughter charge in this case. I really don't think I think it was a split second decision. He did say, touch me and see what happens. So that does, like, the premeditation doesn't have to be days or hours or even minutes. It can be a couple of seconds of premeditation. But for a 17-year-old, I just don't know that his whole life needs to be ruined, to be in jail for the rest, or prison for the rest of his life for this.
A Kenosha cat says he could have opened it in the bag. True, but the thing is, the problem I have is time. If he had time to do that, then he had time to walk away. This was not a sudden attack that he had to pull a knife and defend himself real immediately. And imminence is a major part of the self-defense deal.
Oh yeah. I don't
So
think this was self-defense at all, to be fair.
no,
But even if it wasn't self-defense, I think 15 to 20 years is a reasonable sentence.
see, I don't mind it. I don't mind the manslaughter deal. I just don't hope I just hope that they don't bring it down like 2 years.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
no. I'm saying
Yeah.
it needs to be at least 15. At
And
least.
for the record, I mean, and I know a lot of people are going to be astonished and probably unsubscribe. I don't think that Karmelo is necessarily a bad kid,
Yeah, I
but
don't think so either.
he had worked himself up into this masculine kind of like, nobody's going to mess with me today. I got my knife. And I have a feeling that he, as you said, he got carried away with it. And I bet as he was running, he realized, what have I done?
Teenage hormones, I'm telling you, they're crazy.
Yeah.
Especially with boys.
And you see it with people carrying guns, right? They're almost kind of secretly hoping that they have to use it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I carry a gun pretty much a lot. And I am always thinking, because if you see a conflict, you're always thinking, now, under what circumstances am I going to pull the gun on? And what circumstances am I going to shoot somebody? You have to always think about that. And Karmelo wasn't.
Yeah.
He just reached it, and the guy pushed him, and he, without thinking, he stabbed the dude. You have to pay a price for that. You know, but
do you see
people are
without
calling for the
thinking?
death
But I
penalty,
think
and
he was thinking. I think he was of the mindset where you said where some of the people who carry guns are almost hoping for a chance to use it. When the witness said, he said, touch me again and see what happens. I think he was of that mindset where he did have a knife and he did want to have a chance to use it.
I think so too. But I don't think at that moment he understood the gravity of killing someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
I don't think any 17-year-old really can understand.
People calling for the death penalty and stuff. I mean, come on.
No, absolutely not.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know, that's ridiculous. Okay, let's see what we got here.
I'll just end with this. In an interview, that I know that any prosecutor that got hold of this case wouldn't have never wanted the brother of Austin Metcalf to do is say what he said on the news.
I just want to point something. Could you pause it for a second?
Sure.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I used to be an optician. And when he turned sideways, I think these glasses are fake, is what I'm saying. I think these glasses are to make him appear to be smarter than he actually is. And here's why I say this. When somebody has a glasses prescription, when they turn sideways and you can see the outline of their face, it's not going to match up in real glasses.
Well, you can see it here. I mean, around the very left edge,
it's going to be
straight down. Let me get back and see. Well, let's see here. Let me back it up a bit.
When it's not real glasses.
Say what he said on the news.
Do you see how there's no?
Oh wait, shoot! I had it there.
That got a hold of this case.
Right there. You're right.
Yeah. Yep. I think these are fake glasses to make him look smarter.
There is no deflection.
Nope. Yep.
Refraction.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think you're right.
He's
Those
a
are
big
fake.
faker. In more ways than one, probably.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if
Would
that
have
matters.
never
I just wanted to point
wanted
it
the
out.
brother of Austin Metcalf to do is say what he said on the news. And it is clear. It is clear. In his own words, he stated that Karmelo Anthony said, "Don't put your hands on me."
Can you believe it? He actually thinks that Carmelo warning Austin that that somehow is going to absolve him of the stabbing.
He does think that. Yeah.
Yeah, he absolutely does. He's saying, well, old Hunter Metcalf should never have said that. Like that's going to get Austin, or that's going to get Carmelo off the hook.
Yep. I think that you need to figure out what degrees this guy is claiming to have and look into those like you do with Rashard Ritchie. Because I think
don't
he
know if
might
he
be. I think
claims
he's a
any.
big faker.
Yeah, I don't know if he claims any. I haven't seen any claims of it.
Check his LinkedIn.
Oh man. Okay.
I put you on a. I gave you a little task for this week.
Okay, you've given me a little thing to do here.
I don't trust this guy as far as I can throw him. Is what I'm saying.
And if anybody got a problem with what I said today, if anybody who continues to say that race is not a factor, if anybody who continues to say all of these insinuating things that I saw on social media, then you might look at yourself in the mirror and say, you're the problem.
No, Carmelo Anthony's the problem.
Yes.
Now, whether he's guilty or not is what we're going to find out, but it's not us.
Yeah.
Okay, now that I think is the last of that press conference, and then we have this one where most people have seen, and I think the first thing I'm going to start off with here. I forget.
Still breeds. But let me say this loud and clear. We are not scared. We are not moving. We will not be silent. What I've always said as the president of the Next Generation Action Network, we will never ask the oppressor for permission to liberate our people.
Yeah, he's not making this about race.
No, I guarantee that this guy reached out to this family when this happened, and it wasn't the other way around. I would put money on it.
But this guy's expressions, the father, it's hard to read, but at times it looks like he's saying, wait,
what are you
this
saying?
is not helping me at all.
Yeah. And I feel so bad for Carmelo's mom. Just looks devastated at the whole thing. The whole time. I feel so bad for her.
And she did go up to the microphone and she made a little bit of a fool of herself. However, as a grieving mom, I cut her slack. I didn't.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, I don't know how I would act if I was in this position.
Well, you want to defend your kid either. Like it doesn't matter what your kid did.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, seriously,
that's what unconditional love is.
They're going to have to come through me first.
Yeah.
Right. Is my kid.
Yep.
Because you are, if your kids can't depend on you, then you're really not much of a parent.
Exactly.
To get involved in this, Karmelo Anthony doesn't have to walk. He doesn't have to involve in any senior activities. But Karmelo Anthony is a 3.7 GPA student. And if he doesn't even go to class for the remainder of the year, he would graduate. Okay? We've asked that Frisco do not make a decision in this situation.
Sorry to keep pausing it. I'm so sorry.
Okay. No, I was just going to pause it anyway.
Do we have any confirmation of his GPA besides what this guy is, like words coming out of this guy's mouth? Has the school said anything?
The only thing is Carmelo's own Instagram where he claims it. But you know what? Here's the thing. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. I'm just wondering how full of shit this guy is. Like,
we keep repeating this, but if he is a 2.1 GPA, it has no bearing on anything. And where did where did all this war start between Austin and Karmelo? Like, who cares which one had the higher GPA? Not relevant to anything.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it wasn't that it was relevant to the case. It's just that I was curious if this guy's just spouting bullshit because he
Mhm.
seems to be spouting a lot of bullshit,
Now here he's making the case that Carmelo should not be expelled.
which is ridiculous. He killed a dude.
Well, I'm going to back him up on this a little. He's also saying that look, he doesn't have to show up anymore. He's already claimed enough credit to
Yeah.
graduate. So why expel him when we don't know for sure if he's guilty? Why not just not expel him? And if he's earned the diploma, then give him the diploma, right?
Yeah. I guess you're right.
You know, now on the other side, you draw a picture of a gun on a piece of paper and you get expelled.
Yeah. That's true.
And
That one kid who like
yeah.
remember that Pop-Tart thing where the kid like bit the Pop-Tart in the shape of a gun and got expelled for it? Yeah.
Right. So in this case here, I see both sides,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, I'm certainly, if I'm in his shoes, I'm going to make this argument. And so
But
I
it
have
seems
no
like
problem.
such a weird thing. Like with the gravity of everything else that's going on, this is what you're worried about.
Not only that, but look, this is between you and Frisco ISD. Work it out with them. Don't
Yeah.
go public with this.
Exactly.
This is not our business.
Well,
But-
he's expecting people to be writing emails to the school right now. That's why it's public.
Yeah. And look, go to the school board meeting and raise hell, but don't be
Yeah.
writing letters. If you can't go to the school board meeting, and especially if you don't live in the school district, you have no say in anything.
Yeah.
That is their school district.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, now I think he was actually kind of reasonable here. He's now going to.
Now he's going the opposite.
Here we go. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Because we now have found the real culprit. We now know what really caused this.
But Frisco ISD has notified of their intent to expel Karmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his high school graduation. That just shows me that Frisco ISD is trying to push off the blame. And what I have not heard the media say, as many media outlets have asked us what went on, I'm trying to find how many of y'all have asked the superintendent or one single board of trustee, why didn't you cancel or postpone? With weather in that magnitude, you couldn't have a track meet in rain or thunderstorm or clouds. Y'all
Go.
Here's what I have to say about that. I grew up in the Chicago area. And when I moved to Georgia, the weather patterns down south are different than up north, where in Chicago, if it's raining, it's going to be raining all day. Where I live here, and I think it's the same in Frisco, where in the evenings especially, there's pop-up storms. They last 30 minutes and then they end.
Yeah.
All the time. Anytime there's good weather, there's going to be pop-up storms. Where it doesn't cancel the whole day. If you've ever been to Disney World, it happens at Disney, like in Florida, all the time. It's just the way the weather is. So I'm wondering if this guy is just unfamiliar with that. Because I know when I moved down here, I was unfamiliar with it.
He's from Louisiana.
So he should know. He should. Is it the same? I don't know if it's the same where you live, where there's just random pop-up storms, and when it's warm weather, it rains for 30 minutes and then the sun comes back out.
I lived in Mississippi, and it's the same way, right? Like you're right, and I live, as everybody knows, up near the Tulsa area.
Yeah,
pretty much the same weather as North Texas. I mean, almost identical. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it kind of rolls in, it pounds you for like a half an hour, and then it leaves.
You don't cancel a track meet for it.
No, I mean, well, for example, they canceled the softball. Oklahoma's really big on softball here, and they actually canceled the softball match against Mississippi State, and that was kind of rare.
Yeah,
we're thinking like, why did they cancel? Just because it rained? Well, strangely enough, it did rain for quite a while, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it is very common to just wait it out.
Well, and especially if it's a track where it's like the rubber track with the drainage in it, where it's not going to affect the turf at all that they're running on.
Yeah, but now, beyond that, blaming the weather.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, this is your classic cause-effect fallacy, right? Yep. If they had canceled the track meet, well, then nobody would have been killed. Yeah. If if the guy at the service station hadn't filled the bus up with gas, they couldn't have made it to the track meet, and
Yeah.
nobody would have gotten stabbed. So it's the gas station attendant's fault, right?
Yeah.
This is just horrible logic, and you can't make the family look worse doing this kind of crap.
Yeah. And well, like your mama in the chat is saying, that's why they had the tents out because of, to either stay cool in the shade or to protect from rain. It goes both ways.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oops.
Finally, in regards to this judge, I do not know Judge Angela Tucker. I've never met her, never known her, never been nowhere near her court. Don't know anything about her until we were notified that she was going to hear the writ.
Who cares?
Why would you have to know the judge? Like, do you ever know the judge? Like, I've been to traffic court before. I didn't know the judge before I got there. Just saying.
But even if you had, I mean, unless you were close friends, the judge is not going to. Like, why are you? And first of all, when did this become about you?
When he called the family and inserted himself into it, that's exactly when it became about him.
Yeah, so he goes on and on and on about the judge, and he's talking about how great she is, and like, dude, this is just kiss assing, and the judge's not going to fall for it.
No.
Okay.
So after today, I just want the media to know, and I want the public to know. I don't care what you say about me. I've been in this thing for 11 years. I am tried, tested, and proven. I'm going to just say, I'm from Oak Cliff. Worser things have been said about me, baby.
Worser is not a word.
What's that?
Worser is not a word.
Oh, yeah, worser. That's good.
Also, what other cases has this guy worked on that he's tried, tested, and whatever he said?
I don't know, but his own.
I guess. Yes.
We'll find out here shortly here about that. But again, when did this become about you? I thought you were representing a family.
No, and look at the look on the mom's face right there.
Oh, yeah, like,
she's done with him.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see here. Oops.
Posting the family's picture. These are the type of lies. She's getting millions of views on this.
And by the way, if you're going to display photos, you usually get a big blow up and you put them on an easel so everybody can see it.
Yeah, like, or you do it like the judge in Polk County does, where he's got the cardboard printouts and he sticks it on the podium.
Oh, you're talking about Sheriff Grady Judd?
Yeah, be like Grady Judd if you're going to show pictures. He's got a black and white printout. He couldn't even get a color printer.
And by the way, one of my nightmare fears is for him to be going out there and my picture being on there. I love Grady Judd, man. The guy is great. But yeah, I mean, like, you printed this thing out and then now you're waving it. I was like, oh my gosh. But okay, let's continue.
Sarah, she's even came after me.
You don't care.
She's even said all of those things.
He's just talking about a random person on Twitter.
Knows exactly what is going on.
Okay.
Because these racist bigots try to prevent us from standing up for our baby, our boy.
Our baby, our boy.
Who are you, dude? You didn't know this family before last week.
Well, it's this tribalism thing of, well, he's a fellow black person, therefore he's my brother. Like, okay, you can get robbed by your brother sometimes. See if he's still your brother.
Happens a lot.
It happens a lot. And, it's like, and this is kind of going off a little bit of a tangent, but we hear about the parents talking to their kids about the cops and they're the real evil threat. No, it's your friends that kill you. It's the people you know that put a bullet in you.
Yeah. Your
neighborhood cronies, not necessarily friends, but the people you know in your neighborhood are the ones that are going to get you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're not sending that message out. They're fearing the wrong enemy.
Oh, and the conversation that they need to have with their kids about the cops is the same conversations my parents had with me about the cops. If you get pulled over, you do what the officer says. You give them your license. You say yes, ma'am, or no, sir, or you be polite, and you fight it in court if it's wrong.
No,
That's the conversation everyone needs to have about cops.
You don't even have to do that, Katie. Just show them the Chris Rock video.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
show them the Chris Rock video and you've got it covered. Let's continue.
He should be afforded the same rights that Kyle Rittenhouse had, Daniel Penna, and all.
Daniel Penna.
Is he talking about Daniel Penny?
Who have
Yeah.
He's never heard the word penny before? Like he's never, like he can't pronounce the word penny? Really?
Maybe it's Daniel Pena or some Hispanic dude that I don't know.
What is that?
Whatever their defense was, he should be afforded the same right. Nobody in the public media has one video camera, but we got the video of Kyle Rittenhouse with an AK-47 shooting 3 people in the back.
Go.
Kyle needs to sue this guy for that.
Yeah, I mean,
there is zero evidence that he shot any, like one of the bullets went into the first guy's back as he was falling. He didn't shoot anybody in the back.
You know, keep in mind, I'm not one to tell Kyle to start suing people.
I am. Sue this motherfucker. Oh, sorry.
Well, but what I'm saying is, I mean, I've had talks with Kyle about this. And I told Kyle once, I said, suing Whoopi and suing LeBron James is a waste of time. You cannot win there. And he didn't listen to me, although he hasn't done it. Right. But here's the thing. In like 90% of these instances, the people calling for Kyle to sue people is baseless. I'm sorry. Somebody doesn't like you and they called you a commie or a Nazi. You're not going to sue them for that. You can't.
This is not that though. This is
representation. I agree with you on this one. This is actionable.
Slander. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now will Kyle do it? I'm not sure this guy has any money. And of course, the lawyer's going to say, well, how much money has he got? Oh, he doesn't have any? Oh, screw that. Right. And this is the reason why I think that ultimately in the end, I don't believe that Kyle is going to go to court over this civil thing because Kyle doesn't have any money. So why would any lawyer? Oh, I'm sorry. It's Kimberly Motley. She's a total moron. So she probably will press on. But okay. But at any rate, you're right. Kyle could sue this guy for this kind of stuff. This is slander.
It is.
Okay, let's see what we got here.
I thought you froze for a second. I thought I was going to have to start doing a little song and dance.
What's funny is, first of all, he's got the Trump derangement syndrome thing going. He's just raging, right? Like, it has what to do with Trump. But look at the camera work. And by the way, while it focuses, think of some nice, soft piano music that just kind of creeps in and watch.
Are you sharing the correct screen?
Oh, you know what? I am not.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry. You were right.
Prevent you from helping this family. And I want you to give overwhelming support to show them be divided. And I'm going to say this again, and this is for everybody. Black people in America, while the current occupant sits at 1600 Pennsylvania, Black people in America don't have to pull the race card.
Think of John Winter, the pianist, and his little piano as they zoom in.
The cinematography on this news conference is A+.
Well, and keep in mind, this is not a news organization pulling. This is his production crew.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I
mean, there isn't a genuine bone in this guy's body.
Obviously, this was not open to the public because they kicked Mr. Jeff Metcalf out.
Because he was such a threat. Oh my God.
He managed not to stab anybody on the way out after being.
He could have had a gun. Well, pat him down.
Yeah.
The police were there. They could have patted him down, right?
Also, he's shown no ill will towards this family at all. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite is what he showed toward this family.
He's been a real angel.
Mm-hmm.
and and they're not giving him any credit for it.
No.
In fact, they're doing the opposite. They're making him out to be a real evil person.
Yep.
This guy had his son killed,
Mhm.
and there's no sympathy at all.
Yeah.
Other than the the obligatory, well, our heart goes out to the victim's family.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
whatever.
I think the mother does have sympathy for that family.
You might
Just
be right, but yeah, this guy doesn't.
this guy doesn't. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here.
Dominique Alexander.
By the way, do you know Strategic Eyes?
I don't.
He's been on my channel a couple of times. We've co-hosted, I think, a couple of shows. A great dude.
Okay.
He has a very similar channel to yours. He covers a lot of cop stuff.
Okay. I'll have to get him on my show.
He's a police officer.
Okay.
In New York. He doesn't tell you which town. But,
I don't tell people what town I live in either. I have people out to get me for what I say online.
Tell everybody, go subscribe to Strategic Eyes, and I think Eyes is with a Z on the end. But he's really got a really good show and pretty level-headed.
Yeah.
The community activist dude who is a spokesperson for the family. Alexander was first arrested in July 2009 for causing serious bodily injury to a child. Police reported he'd been babysitting his girlfriend's 2-year-old son for the evening when he called her at 11 p.m. and told her to get home now, but he didn't tell her why. When she arrived, she found her child unresponsive. Alexander told his girlfriend that he'd been watching a movie with her son on the couch. He paused the movie, police reported. As he walked into the computer room, he heard the sound of her son, who was asleep on the couch, fall off the couch onto the carpet. Isn't this what?
Oh, by the way, I have speeded this thing up by 25%, but he talks a little bit fast.
Yeah.
So I probably should have left it alone. Okay, but he's talking about Dominique Alexander. Oh, is it Dominique? It's Dominique, by the way, I believe. I'm sorry. Oh gosh. At any rate, I think it's Dominique.
Sure, it's not Dominic.
Yeah, I believe it's Dominique, but that's who he's talking about.
Okay.
That's what the abusers always say. Oh, they fell off the bed, fell off the couch,
Also,
hit
a
their
kid
head on the
falling
floor.
under the
They hit his
carpet.
head on the carpet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kids are pretty resilient. You have to really.
They're tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you're shaking them.
You got to do better than that, buddy, but let's keep going. But the doctor disagreed with the statement. He examined Alexander's girlfriend's son in the intensive care unit. The child was in intensive care, almost lost his life, and reported that the child had a subdural hemorrhage between the halves of his brain and at the back of his brain. He also had retinal hemorrhages in both eyes, man.
Now you're an optometrist. Retinal
He
hemorrhages.
shook the baby. Yes. Falling under the carpet doesn't do that.
Oh, but it gets worse.
That's so horrible. The severity of his injuries is not consistent with rolling off the couch. The investigative officer reported the doctor saying the injuries are acute and likely occurred around the time that his girlfriend's son started to have symptoms like being unresponsive. Without more adequate history of trauma, complainant's injuries are more consistent with abusive head trauma and child physical abuse. This man who's trying to fight for a child who committed a crime or is alleged to have committed a crime is a child abuser himself, allegedly, but it's not alleged because he actually went to jail for it. He was actually convicted and went to jail for it. Let's keep going. Alexander claimed that he had taken the child to play in a bounce house, and then he changed his story. First, it was just the child rolled off the couch. Now he took the child to a bounce house that evening at Royal Crest Apartments, but he told the judge, Gracie Lewis, on Friday that he'd taken the child to play in a bounce house the day before. He never reported the bounce house to the doctor or the investigators at the time. On Friday afternoon, the prosecutors read two statements Alexander had signed not long after the incident occurred. In the first statement, he claimed that the child had fallen off the couch. In the second statement, he admitted to shaking the child. He was charged with first-degree felony. He admitted to shaking the child. Why is this man?
Sounds like shaken baby syndrome.
It is.
Those are all of the symptoms of shaken baby syndrome.
Now, I will say this. I remember a case where a boy was given, he was like 17, his girlfriend made him take care of her kid. And the kid was like, like really really a lot of trouble. And he got carried away and he killed the kid. And he got a life sentence. And I kind of felt bad. Look, he didn't bank on this. He was kind of given, and it's not his kid.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have that same kind of parental feel towards the child.
You're allowed to kill the kid even if it's not yours.
Well, but I can understand how a person gets so frustrated, right? That they do something that they don't mean. And so I think a life sentence for that was too much.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a girl and I have
different
instincts. Like I don't know. I think it's a plenty good punishment for killing a child. But
okay, we'll go on. We're going to disagree.
Man on TV. Why do we care what he have to say? I don't know. But he admitted to shaking this child. Let's keep.
How often do you think about your poop? Now, some people think about their poop a
How
lot.
often?
Others, not so much. Did you know that?
Keep going. Not long after he was arrested for injury to a child causing severe bodily harm, he got
All the damn commercials to come on.
into trouble for forging a check, leading police on a high-speed chase, stealing a car, and falsely claiming the car was stolen. Alexander brought a couple of character witnesses, but one had only recently met him, and the other didn't know Alexander was on probation. As she read his sentencing, Judge Lewis told Alexander, "I've given you multiple chances. Alexander will receive credit for his time he has already served in jail. His attorneys believe he could parole out within 6 months." This is 2016. This is the court documents here. We get it up here. And this is the plea agreement. So he was not found guilty. My apologies.
Not even that long
Not guilty
ago.
of the plea agreement.
No. And that's the thing here. And in fact, one of my latest videos, I said, this is not a guy who committed some infractions when he was a youngster and has reformed, right? He's gotten released from jail. He's seen the error of his ways. He's become a minister. And so he decided to now, help others avoid what he's been through. No, he was a minister when he did this crap.
Yeah.
Defendant's statement and waivers. With the approval of counsel, the defendant makes the following statement and waivers. I am accused in the charging instrument and am mentally competent. I understand the nature of the accusations made against me, the range of punishment for such offenses. Typical plea agreement. I admit judiciously confess that I committed the offense. He said he did it. He said he did it. He said he did it. He pled guilty. Look at that. That's the first one. And this is the child one. This is the one that put him on probation in the first place. And this is for the kid. And he pled guilty. Motion to revoke probation or proceed with an adjudication of guilt. So this,
through all of these horrible crimes, he has spent maybe 2 years in jail?
Not long enough.
No.
He really could have that kid could be severely, it could affect this kid for the rest of his life, a brain injury like that.
Sure. And the retinal, I mean, you're an optometrist. Does a person have a good chance of retaining all their eyesight?
Yeah, the eyesight will be fine. It's like,
Well, that's good. Yeah. And here he is.
The brain injury, though, like think about football players who have CTE. It's the same thing.
Really? Yeah. That's right. Oh my God. So that is Dominic Alexander. And if you're wanting to know more, I have a bunch of videos on him.
Yep.
Okay, let's see here. Oops. And then this next one. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, I am not responsible for your monitors or computers when you're listening to this lady. Now, she's going to start off really sweet, man. You think, what a nice girl. All right. Are you ready? I'll turn this down a little bit. Okay.
Peace, family. My name is Vicky Diller for African Diaspora, this channel.
Let me turn this down. The speed down a little bit. She talks fast, so I'd rather play this at normal.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to give the video a big thumbs up, and share the broadcast. Thank you so much, family. Certainly some of you by now have heard of the sad and tragic story regarding our dear brother, Karmelo Anthony, who was clearly, in some of our opinions, based on information and belief, some of the information that has come out, some of us believe that he was first and foremost a victim of what likely might have been white supremacy by two different individuals.
Go.
What? Where does the white supremacy come? Where did that come from? There's no evidence of that at all. And to throw the brother who watched his twin brother die in his arms, by the way, you're throwing that kid under the bus. I feel so bad for that kid. And you're going to you're going to call him a white supremacist. Not even suspected white supremacist, like some of our friends say. Just totally, just all out white supremacist, both of them.
It unfortunately led to the deletion, the unaliving, as we say online, of this Austin Metcalf. Just so you have a little bit of background, I'm reading from People magazine, just so you all have the background in case you didn't hear about this. The family of the Texas teenager accused of the fatal stabbing of a fellow high school Star Trek has started a legal defense fund. It talks about how 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, that's the young brother who is alive, and many have said was defending himself, was charged with murder following the deletion of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf on April 2nd. There's a lot of stuff that's been going around, but I want you to listen to what is said to be an eyewitness statement that has been going around a couple of different social media platforms. I want you to listen to this, if accurate. Watch this.
Now, here we go. We're going to hear from somebody who claims to have seen what happened. Okay. Your IQ is going to plummet over the next couple of minutes.
I'm not the smartest person in the world already. Don't take my IQ points away.
Here we go.
It was raining. It got rained out like crazy bad. Everybody trying to get back to their cars or get in, places where they, wouldn't get all extra wet at. Dude was sitting up on the tent, right?
What was this 30-year-old man doing at a high school track meet?
Yeah, with his kids. And keep in mind, his kids are like young, so like why? I don't know.
Okay.
He was never there.
No, he wasn't there. Obviously not. You could tell by just by his profile picture on the Zoom call or whatever this is. You can tell he wasn't there. There's no reason for this guy to have been there.
So I'm paying attention to my kids, but at the same time, they're in the same vicinity. So I'm watching everything going on around it because I'm there for my children. So dude walks up, McKellen, bro, he wasn't even under the tent at the time. They came from a whole separate tent and walked over there. They intentionally went over there to this kid, man. Dude was sitting there on his phone just trying to get dry. You feel me? One thing went from another. They grabbed this man and they tried to punch on dude. Dude went in his bag and whatever. They went to try to jump this dude and punch on this dude, man. And he protected himself, dude. That's what happened. Yeah. It wasn't just one. It was both of them, bro. Austin, that dude that got unalive, and his brother physically went over there to intentionally. It's not to the point that he brought a knife. For one, it wasn't on school property. The school is at least 5 to 10 miles away. It was community track meet, bro. It wasn't a school track meet.
They were at a school, right? And maybe I'm wrong about that. I assumed it was at a school's facility. Was it not?
David Kirkendall Stadium is owned by Frisco ISD.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And it was a Frisco ISD track meet.
Yeah.
All of the schools from Frisco ISD were there.
Yeah.
This dude goes up and says, well, it wasn't even a school thing. It was a community deal. No, it wasn't. You weren't there.
I mean maybe he was there. He was like working the concession stand or something. We don't know.
So,
but I doubt he saw what happened. And if he did see what happened, what he's saying happened, no other witness saw that. Oh, you're the only one that saw that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, nothing he says jives with what anybody else said. Mm-hmm. But we've seen this before. It was with the Michael Brown deal.
Yeah. Where somebody comes out after the fact and said, oh, I saw the whole thing.
Right. So
hands up, don't shoot.
Give me a moment here, because the Michael Brown deal in Ferguson, I think a lot of people know about it, but let me explain what happened. Michael Brown attacked Darren Wilson, the officer. Dorian Johnson, who is, by the way, the most despicable creature on the planet, he was with Michael Brown. He was a friend of Michael Brown's. He ran off. Okay. He then goes home, changes his clothes, and comes back to the scene. And by that time, the news media were there. Mm-hmm. So instead of going to the police, remember, he has a better view of anything than anybody because he was with Michael Brown at the time. But instead of going to the police, he went to the media and he told them he had his hands up and was yelling, "Don't shoot." Mm-hmm. The other people heard that and they changed their testimony, or they created it. They said, "You're right. He had his hands up. Don't shoot." The biggest lie been told that was ever told was right there with Dorian Johnson. And all of a sudden, but these people they created this, they fabricated their testimony, but now the grand jury's coming in and the FBI is coming in.
Well,
And go ahead.
the issue with that is that I know that the Department of Justice did an investigation on the Michael Brown thing, but it takes so much time for that information to come out. Nobody cares by the time that report came out saying what actually happened, that Michael Brown attacked the officer. Nobody even saw that. The narrative had already been set, and that's what they're hoping to do in this case too, because it's going to take time for this report to come out. The court case is going to probably be years from now.
Now, keep in mind, on my channel, I read the grand jury report and I read the eyewitness testimony.
Yeah.
There were two sets. There were people that said, no, Michael Brown attacked the officer. And there were others that said, hands up, don't shoot.
Yeah.
Every one of those who were claiming hands up, don't shoot, their testimony was completely busted.
Yeah.
A lot of them admitted that they had made it up because they wanted to be a part of something. So they fabricated this because they thought they could get a white cop convicted.
Yeah.
And every one of, well, actually, I shouldn't say that. There was like all but two of those claiming that Darren Wilson was in the right. Their testimony matched the forensic evidence.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about it. Anybody listening, there's no doubt about it. Michael Brown attacked Darren Wilson. Darren Wilson shot him because at 6'4", 292 pounds, Michael Brown was a force to be reckoned with.
Well, and if Michael Brown would have gotten that officer's gun.
Oh, yeah. Shoot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, Michael Brown had assaulted a store clerk about half an hour earlier.
I was going to say it was earlier that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a half.
Oh,
They were
like a
walking
carton of
away
cigarettes
from
or
the actual
something.
store
Yep.
when Darren Wilson pulled up, but they were walking in the middle of the street.
Yep.
And Wilson pulled up to tell him, "Hey, get out of the middle of the street." And that's
Didn't
where
he
the confrontation
just robbed that store of a carton of cigarettes or something? I can't remember the story.
Cigarillos.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
like the things that Clint Eastwood always smoked in those spaghetti westerns that I love so much. Yeah. But this is what happens. And now you're going to hear a lot of witnesses come forward and say the same thing that this dude said, because that's what they heard. They're going to try to be witnesses. And this guy here is not going to take the stand. If this goes to trial, there's no way that the defense is going to put this dude on the stand.
Yeah.
He's a nut.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, let's see here. I don't know if I had anything more on this. Oh, yeah.
So he had the right to have a knife on his person, bro.
Okay, did you hear the brother? Did you hear the brother that says he's an eyewitness? And again, this was a couple of different places that had this on.
By the way, you need those nails, KT. Those they would look so great on you.
I like being able to wipe my own ass. So no.
I taught English at a junior college once.
Yeah.
And some of the ladies would come in with these fingernails that were like this long, and
How
they
do
would
you
curl.
type?
And I said, "How are you going to type?" And they looked at me like, "How dare you?" Okay, why? Fine, whatever, man. Go ahead. Go for it. It's crazy.
I rarely spend money to get my nails done. I talked about this on my show the other day, actually. But when I do, every few years I forget, and I'll pay to have somebody paint my nails, or I never get extensions or whatever they're called. But within 24 hours, that nail polish is chipped every single time. And then I say, I'm never paying for that again. And then I forget 2 years later and I do it again.
You know what she looks like? It's like if you attack her, she's going to dig into the ground like a badger. Oh my gosh.
On there. And if this is one of the accurate witnesses that saw it, he says that number one, it was in self-defense because he said he witnessed them aggressing him. He said not just one, but two. He said the young man was trying to dry himself off in a different spot. And he also revealed something that's very interesting. He said that the track meet that they were on, the area they were in, he said was not on school grounds. He said it was a community spot. He said it was at least 5 to 10 miles away from school property. So
why would that matter anyway?
I think they're making this point that and it's the same thing that I was saying. They're saying that he was allowed to have the knife, which whether he was allowed or not, I think he should have been allowed to have the knife. So this issue that they're bringing up just makes no difference to me. He still shouldn't have killed the dude.
By the way, a little shout out to Chris Harding, one of my subscribers. He has been a great source of material for me. I think they're trying to make the claim that it was legal for him to have the knife. Keep in mind, you can defend yourself with an illegal weapon.
He's not charged with having a knife. So why
No.
are they even talking about this?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to them. Okay.
No.
We're going to have to look at that closely, and if that's accurate, y'all need to shut down that foolishness that's out there talking about what did he bring that for? Yeah, if you're asking what did he bring that for, maybe perhaps he knew something about some of his little wicked, allegedly his little wicked track school buddies. What we
They didn't
asking
go to the same
dumb
school.
questions like,
Yeah, they didn't go to the same school.
They
They
didn't-
didn't know each other.
They didn't know each other. Yeah.
And by the way, this really pains me because I'm thinking, damn it, we could have had him as a recruit. I'm joking.
Oh.
I'm joking. I guess that was in poor taste.
At least he's got a twin brother. You can have that.
Yeah. Boomer Sooner, man. All right. Everybody knows I'm a big Oklahoma Sooner fan. But now watch her demeanor. She's going to get more and more agitated.
like that for when we look at the lives of foundational Black Americans and we see that the open enemy has neither ceased nor desist to take us out on camera. What's wrong with you? Stop playing dumb. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to alleviate dumbness, foolish questions when we know what it is. We have the receipts and no limit of times on how y'all always do.
What is this? What is she trying to say? I don't even know. This word salad is not even, it's not sinking into my head. Maybe I was joking about not being smart, but maybe I'm not smart enough to understand what she's saying.
Again, I actually kind of lost the train of thought there a moment myself.
Like what is, it's just a word salad.
Out there talking about what did he bring that for? Yeah, if you're asking what did he bring that for, maybe perhaps he knew something about some of his little wicked, allegedly his little wicked track school buddies.
In other words, maybe he brought the knife because he knew those two dudes were going to attack him because these were bad apples.
Well, first of all, he didn't know them, but if he had a knife on him for self-defense, that's fine. But this was not self-defense, so it makes it not fine.
Well, the other thing is, if he knew that these guys were going to attack him with serious bodily injury,
why is he sitting under their tent?
Why in the hell does he go down to their tent?
I don't know.
Unless he was looking for a fight. So you see, she's actually destroying Karmelo's argument.
Yeah. She
Because
doesn't realize that.
She doesn't understand because she's kind of
Also,
stupid.
her audience doesn't understand it either.
Oh my gosh, go through the comment section. Oh my God.
No, thank you. I like having my hair attached to my head and I will pull it all out if I read that. I know myself.
It's the same with my videos because I'll put out an anti-Rashad Richey one and I'll get my subscribers who are kind of smart. And then you can tell when the Rashad Richey fans come in because like English language is just not even a thing.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the comment section of her video, and then by the way, it's linked in the description. Go through them. It is truly amazing. But that's all I can say. Let's go ahead and continue.
What we asking dumb questions like that for when we look at the lives of foundational Black Americans and we see that the open enemy has neither ceased nor desist to take us out on camera. What's wrong with you? Stop playing dumb.
Stop playing dumb, everybody.
So, okay. So I'm trying to understand what she's saying. I want to hear all perspectives, obviously. I think she's saying that since the beginning of time, white people have been trying to take out Black people. So that's why he had a knife?
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what she's saying.
Okay.
Why are you questioning why he has a knife? You should know that he's got white people around him and he has to carry the knife. In fact, it's to even question why he had the knife is so dumb. Yeah, that's exactly what she's saying.
I mean, okay.
I told you that you were going to get pretty mad.
All right. I mean, I don't want to say something I can't take back, but it's like, okay, go ahead, do the play the.
By the way, I can always edit the video. I've had to do it a few times.
Trying to alleviate dumbness, foolish questions when we know what it is. We have the receipts and no limit of times on how y'all always do. Now that is said to be testimony from an eyewitness.
By the way, Kenosha Cat asked, do they actually know each other? All indications are that they may have known of each other, but they didn't know each other. And there was rumors going around that they had fought in a party the night before. Completely false.
Yeah, I don't think, even if they had run against each other to pass track meet, we don't even know if they were in the same events.
Yeah.
But even so, I played high school sports. I was on swim team. I played softball, basketball. I don't remember players from other schools unless,
No.
especially enough to be angry with them for anything. Like if there was a super tall girl on the other team's basketball team, I might remember them the next time we play that team or something like that. But I don't know their names. You don't talk to them.
Yeah,
You
the Metcalfs were 200 plus, and Karmelo looked to be about 5'9", about
Mhm.
170.
Yeah.
So I don't think they would have been competing against each other in like sprinting or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, everybody, my next video is going to be on how big exactly was Karmelo Anthony, because according to the police report, he was 130 pounds.
hmm
And then, according to the booking report, he's 157. He claims 175. That'll be my next video. There's a lot of mystery about it, although it maybe doesn't matter much.
Yeah, I don't think they weigh them when they book them in. They just look at what it says on their driver's
Yeah.
license is probably what transfers over to the booking.
That's probably true. Yeah. He's standing on a scale, by the way, and he's 6'1". He's not 5'9". Okay, at any rate, let's go on.
That's what we need to be focusing on. And also, I'm seeing out there little tactics of white America upset and trying to obstruct Karmelo's family and loved ones from the ability to raise money for him. I don't want to hear nothing that y'all got to say when it comes down to the taking of lives of our family, our foundational Black American family. You better get out of our face. And not only that, have you all seen that they released a full police arrest report?
She says, you got to get out of our space. But Karmelo was in the space.
Yeah.
You can't make this up.
Yep.
You can't make this up.
Report, and it appears to confirm nothing but the fact that it was in self-defense.
Nothing but the fact that it was self-defense.
I don't know if that's a fact yet. I think we need to go to court to figure it out. Actually, all signs point to it not being the fact.
You want to watch more of her, or can you handle it?
You can play more.
Okay.
And he immediately said it wasn't nothing shady based on what I read from the 2 pages that I saw. It wasn't nothing shady about anything that I read, except for the fact that he immediately said there wasn't no switches and no change up in the story, that it was in self-defense.
So he's innocent because he said so.
I from what I understand, there's a video of it. We could settle this really quickly by just watching the video in court, probably.
Yeah, but if the video exonerates Karmelo, I think that his lawyers be wanting to put this out into the public, which they could do.
Wait, honestly, if the video exonerates Karmelo, then that's great. I want justice to be served no matter what direction it falls.
If Karmelo is innocent, by all means, find him innocent and restore all his rights.
Yeah.
You know, he should be able to get his high school diploma.
Absolutely.
He should be able to go to college. Damn it, he's innocent.
Yep.
You know,
I don't think that's how it's going to go, but for real, in all honesty, I want justice to be served no matter what that is.
Oh, just a second here. Is Kayla Hayes the biological mother or stepmother of Karmelo Anthony? I've been asked this a number of questions. I mean, a number of times. I'm not sure, and I don't know. It's not something that really worries me.
I don't think it matters if she raised him from a child. I don't think it matters that much. Personally.
Well, some of the testimony that we've been hearing is from a Hayes. I think his name is Kevin Hayes.
Okay.
So that could be a relative. So that might mean something down the road, but I don't know about you, but I haven't been able to find out enough. And
yeah,
I don't know. To me, it's like he either had a reason to believe that his life was in danger or he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to sit here and play like we don't know our open enemy for hundreds of years. Y'all better get out my face. We're not gonna sit here and do no mess like that. And especially as we see you all defend folks that come with AK-47s to events that they ain't got no business being in.
She's referring to Kyle Rittenhouse, the AK-47, because we all know that Kyle Rittenhouse used an AK-47. She watched the press conference and heard that dude talk about the AK or the AK-47, and now she's just repeating it.
Did he say AK-47 in that press conference?
Yeah.
It was an AR, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, an AR-15.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, I thought for a second there, I've been wrong for years of what in my brain, what I thought the weapon was. In
the only one I know that had the AK-47 was that dude in Austin who, remember, he was there at a protest. He was carrying the AK-47, and he said that I'm carrying this because people better not, mess with me or something like that. And then at a stoplight, he ended up getting shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, he was carrying an AK-47.
Yeah, and there's video of that where he actually pointed that gun at the guy who ended up shooting him.
I saw it and I could see it both ways. And I looked at it and thought, whatever the jury decides, I'm good with. And then he got pardoned, whatever. But keep in mind, though, that dude did everything that everybody blamed Kyle for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why is he at the protest? Why is he carrying a weapon of war? You can't get a bigger weapon of war than an AK-47.
I mean, you can, an actual weapon of war, because neither of those guns are weapons of war. But
the AK-47 is. I mean, that was the communist standard rifle for 30 years,
he didn't
right?
Have a full auto, right?
Yeah, no, not in full auto. Okay. I mean, you're right. He didn't have it in full auto, but it is an AK-47. It was designed for communist forces, and like all of those arguments they used against Kyle could have been used against him, and they didn't do it.
But this is why, because of people like that, why I look at each case separate. I don't pick a side just because that's what my side is saying. That's why when I say I don't care that they lowered the bail for this kid, I think it's actually probably the correct move to lower the bail for this kid. And I feel bad for his family and all that. People get mad at me because I'm not towing the party line, but I don't have a party. So I'm going to look at each case as an individual case.
And, you look at these comparisons that they love to pull out, but there were 3 men in Detroit that were arrested for attempted murder. One of them tried to burn a woman to death in her own home, and they were bailed out at $500.
Yeah. Well, It's like that. What's that case you came on my channel to talk about where the bail was like, I forget, it was some astronomical amount. And I'm like, this just doesn't seem right. This bail is way too high. It was that mom that left her kids home alone, and the bail was like several million. It was like $5 million or something.
That, and people forget bail is not punishment.
Exactly.
It's designed to be enough to make sure that the person shows up at their court hearings and also doesn't hurt people and talk to witnesses, right? And, I don't have any issue with them lowering Karmelo Anthony's bail to whatever it was. Kyle's was $2 million.
That was too high.
Yeah, well, Crystal Kaiser's was $1 million, and they reduced it down to like 400,000.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, people need to get off the bail thing, but whatever. Okay, let's continue. We're almost done here.
And you got cable news, folks. You have officials that's out there sitting there supporting a knucklehead that got off on deletion charges. I don't want to hear nothing.
Does she think cable news people are officials?
My name is
yeah.
Also, does she think people still watch cable news? Because most people that I know in my life don't even have don't even have cable anymore.
Oh no, I don't.
I haven't had cable in like probably 5 to 7 years is the last time I actually paid a
it's like having a landline
subscription. Yeah, nobody has cable.
It's Vicky Diller, beloved. Be sure to go to my website at VickyPlanet.com to save your seat for my upcoming event. April 5th is going to be absolutely amazing, beloved. I'm going to show you some connections between certain intelligence.
Yeah, can you imagine having to listen to her for any length of time? I mean,
they would kick us out for having the wrong color skin. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's see here. I think I might have one more to show, and I know that you kind of have to.
Yeah, I do have to work in the morning, so
Yeah, let me see what else I have here. I think I have one. Let's see. Let's see here. I have two of them. Which one do I want to play? Okay, so let me go end this thing on a kind of a nicer note. And by nicer, I mean a person who's not psycho. This is one of friends of Austin Metcalf, and she's gone on to describe what she saw.
Trying to pick and choose what they want to hear because there are very obvious facts that have been put online and have been put into the world, and they're choosing not to see it. And a lot of these people, I hate to say it, are doing it because they don't want to see what a lot of people have said was they don't want to see a black guy go to jail for a long time for killing a white kid.
I'm Tamara, and you're watching the Tamara Neely Show. I'd like to welcome back all my returning subscribers. And if you're new here, I would like to let you know I'm happy you're here. Today, I have a special guest on to talk about a topic that we've been talking about on the channel for a couple days. The special guest is here to talk about Austin Metcalf. This is one of Austin's friends, someone who knew him, who knows his family. And the reason why I'm bringing this guest on to talk is because at the end of the day, I think we're living in an upside down world. People are forgetting that right is right and wrong is wrong. They're making this situation into a, race issue, making it to where they're saying that Austin was a racist and making up stories. They're even posting false police reports and setting up GoFundMe's for the suspect who actually harmed Austin and unfortunately unalived him. I have to use that word because this is YouTube, this is TikTok. So without further ado, I would like to welcome our special guest to the show. She is going to stay anonymous out of respect for her. I will not be sharing her name or anything like that. But I would like to welcome Austin's friend. What do you want your play name to be today?
Honestly, literally anything will work.
Okay, we'll just call you Jane Doe then.
And by the way, notice the demeanor change. It seems to be a little more pleasant.
Do you know what's funny is as soon as this person came onto the screen, you could just tell the difference in what's the word I'm looking for?
Demeanor.
Classiness.
Yeah.
Like
Culture.
As soon as she came on and started speaking, I could tell that it's somebody that I like. It's somebody that I would be friends with in real life. Somebody who might go to my church. You see what I'm saying? So.
Well, there's no bluster.
Yeah.
Right. They're not doing the truth by bluster thing that the previous person did. That if I shout it loud enough and I insult you enough, then what I'm saying must be true.
Educated. Yes, that's a good word.
I'm going to educate you, right? Well, think of the Tiffany Henyard School of Persuasion.
Like she seems like somebody I would work with at my professional office job,
Yeah, educated. Yeah, Kenosha Cat says educated. Yeah, that kind of sounds
that's
like
a word.
Right?
Yep.
Right,
Okay. Jane Doe, welcome to the Tamara Neely Show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. First off, I want to ask you, how are you holding up in all of this?
I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I'm not great. Honestly, it's been a hard past few days, but I've been trying to push through it as much as I can.
Yeah, I could only imagine, and I'm truly sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And by the way, I should mention, when you hear these witnesses, that have not been identified, you have to think, how do I know that this is genuine? And to be honest with you, she does sound genuine.
Yeah.
But you don't know for sure. But I mean, that dude that I was talking about, yeah, they went out there and they hit that dude. Okay.
Here's the reason I know she's genuine, because I have something called intuition and instinct. and I am a very good judge of character. I always tell my husband, I don't know why I've never been called for jury duty because I'm so good at judging people. I'd make a great juror, but you just get a feeling for people, and she strikes me as genuine. Both of these women strike me as genuine.
I mean, the anchor here, I could give her $50 and I feel like I'd get my $50 back.
Oh, yeah.
The other dude, no, no, kiss your money goodbye.
You would never hear from him again.
Yeah, you'd never hear from him again.
I didn't know Austin. However, I literally haven't been able to sleep well at night since this happened, just knowing all that's transpired. I watched the interview of his dad talking about his wife and his son and how his twin brother held him in his arms for it's just all I watched it all, and my heart is.
Can you imagine your twin brother?
I know.
Holding him, and keep in mind, when you get stabbed in the heart, the blood goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my
Until
God.
it stops.
I mean, I can't imagine it. I really can't.
No.
It's just so burden for this family. And so I want to ask you, how do you know Austin and his family?
So I met Austin a few years back through my older brother who went to Frisco Heritage. I don't remember the exact first meeting, but I know after that we became really close and we started having a falling out, honestly, last month. But nonetheless, we were still extremely close. So yeah.
Yeah, and of course, falling outs happen with friends. Friends fight. That's what friends are for, to tell you the honest truth, right? And sometimes we don't want to hear it. So I've been there. I understand having a little tussle with a friend. But okay, so you've known Austin for a couple years. Do you know his family as well?
I know Hunter a little bit. Me and him obviously weren't as close. And I do know his parents, and they are the sweetest people in the world.
Oh,
Absolutely
wow.
adore them.
Yeah, they seem like it. Did you go to school with Austin, or you said you knew him because
I go to school in a completely different district.
Okay.
Because obviously my parents are separated, so it's it's weird. But no, my brother went to school in the same district as them and knew Austin through football.
Okay.
The detail there is very convincing. She's not saying, "Oh yeah, man, we went to the same school, we did everything together." She's kind of telling you that no, it wasn't quite like that.
Yeah. It seems like they ran in the same circle, but maybe weren't. They weren't like
have
best
you
friends.
ever been to the track stadium that this event happened at?
I have not.
Okay. So can you tell us just a little bit about what Austin was like?
If I could really think of one word to describe him, I would say loyal. He was always there for people no matter what he had going on and no matter what they had going on. He always put other people before him. And honestly, he's one of those people that I feel as though everybody should aspire to be like. Like overall, he was just an amazing person.
Wow. And I've been seeing a lot of people talk about his loyalty. What is an example of just how he's shown up for you in your life?
I was going through a really tough time last year, and I quite literally had nobody. All I had was Austin, and he literally stayed on the phone with me for a few hours and just was trying to comfort me while I'm pretty much losing my mind at that point. And he had a lot of stuff going on for himself, but because I needed somebody and just was honestly probably in the worst stage of my life, he was there for me. He completely forgot about everything he had going on and just sat there and let me vent to him.
Mm-hmm. So, and he was the MVP of his football team, right? So, my brother played football as well when he was younger, and he was also the MVP at one point. And something that some people may not know about MVPs is they're selected because they're there for their teammates. They're known for being dynamic individuals. They're known for just the fact that they are, outstanding in more ways than one. And it sounds like Austin was that way for so.
I don't necessarily think that that's always true. I think that an MVP could be just to a person who's just simply better than everybody else.
I think she's talking about a team captain, not necessarily an MVP.
Okay. Well, no, I think he actually did win MVP though. I think that was actually the title.
Oh, I'm just saying what she's describing is it. Like, I think she's confused, is what I'm saying.
Hearing a lot on social media. I've been reading through some of the comments, especially on TikTok, and people are defending the suspect in this event, Karmelo Anthony, and they are almost praising his actions, and they even have set up a GoFundMe for him. And I want to ask you about that.
I have no issue with the GoFundMe. If you really feel that this person needs the money to defend himself in court, go ahead and donate. I have no issue with it.
What I have an issue with is setting up a GoFundMe for legal defense and then not using that money for legal defense.
If that happened. Now, now you can always trust Dominic and everything he says, right? But he's claiming that that didn't happen. Whatever, you know what? I mean, you donated the money to them. If they want to piss it away on something, fine.
Well, I'm pretty sure if they collect money for legal defense and then they use it for something else, that's fraud, which should be looked into.
I don't know. Is that the case?
I think so.
I mean, there's false pretenses, right? You're raising money for, but I guess it kind of depends on how it's worded.
I haven't looked. I haven't read the. Yeah, I don't know.
I really think that whether he's guilty or not, that's what the issue is. Whatever they spent the money on, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, I can't set up a GoFundMe saying I need money for cancer treatments and then use money to buy a Ferrari. Like, that's fraud, right? It seems like the same sort of situation.
Is it? I don't know. So? I mean, I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
I'm just speculating that, it seems fraudulent.
But before we get there, I want to ask you, how are Austin's parents doing right now?
Honestly,
and his family.
I know Hunter is having a hard time, obviously. I talked to somebody who was at school with him. You can tell he's obviously, still in shock. I don't think it's actually hit him that any of this actually happened. His parents, I know his mom she's also having a rough time. Like, I mean, we all saw the interview. She could barely talk without crying. She's right now leaning towards the Lord, and so is the dad. But I think they're doing the best they can right now.
That's a good point. I mean, they come across to me as very religious.
Yeah.
And in Texas, that's common.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the South is common.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Man, it's so tough. And I'm glad you mentioned leaning toward the Lord, because the way Austin's dad spoke about his faith and shared his faith in spite of the obstacles that him and his family are going through right now is a testament to not only the goodness of God, but also how dedicated to his faith he is, how dedicated Austin's dad is. And I really was moved by that. And I know so many people around the world were. And if you ever get a chance to talk to Austin's dad about, this interview, please tell him I said, just thank you for just sharing your story, and tell him that I was really inspired.
Absolutely.
It meant a whole lot. Okay. So I would like to ask, let me see. What can you tell us about the tragic event?
This is what's important.
That happened on April 2nd.
I don't know. I'm going to have to kind of go based off Hunter's words, because I know right now a lot of us are trying to speak as little on it as we can, given there's so many different versions coming out. But basically, the gist of it. So, Karmelo was on suspension for having weapons on school grounds. So,
Okay, so that is a rumor I've heard. I haven't substantiated it, but that he had been suspended previously for having a weapon on school grounds.
Okay.
However, if I'm the defense attorney, I say, he carried it all the time. That just shows you that he always had it with him, that he didn't bring the knife with him for that specific event.
Yeah.
I can see them using that.
Yeah. I could see that
which
too.
technically means you are not supposed to be at school events. And he had showed up to the track meet, even though he wasn't competing, and decided.
I think he was.
Yeah, I thought he was competing, but
okay, I take that back. He may not have been competing, but he was he was there for a specific reason, maybe erecting tents or something. But he was there for officially. I mean, I don't think he was there just as a random spectator.
Yeah.
Decided to sit under Memorial High School's tent, and Austin and Hunter both told him, like, you can't sit here, you're gonna have to go sit with your school. And Karmelo started reaching in his bag for something, and Austin tried to take the bag, and Karmelo punched him, Austin punched back, and then Karmelo stabbed him. And
okay, so this is a little bit different. According to this, Karmelo punched Austin, then Austin punched back, and then Karmelo grabbed the knife and pulled it out.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, I'm a little bit wrong here. I thought that she was a witness. It doesn't sound like she was.
No, she's just repeating what the brother said, but I didn't hear the brother say that Karmelo punched.
Yeah, so I apologize to the viewers. I thought that she was a witness. She's not, and she's trying to repeat what she remembers Hunter saying, and I don't think she's got it quite right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's getting kind of late. I know
it is
11 o'clock back there.
Yeah, it's 11:06.
Okay. Do you want to kind of cut it for the day?
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
I do. I turn into a pumpkin usually at 10:30, but
yeah. Do you want to address any of the chat questions before you go?
Hold on. I had the chat up here in a second. I need to look at it.
If that Ferrari is getting you to and from, oh well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I don't think that's the way it works.
You have to get point A to point B somehow.
Yeah.
And you might as well go in comfort and that, leather headrest.
By the way, before any rumors get out of hand, I don't have cancer. I was just using that as a, like a.
I didn't think so. I mean,
yeah. I just know how people on the internet are.
Wasn't there some woman in Iowa who got convicted for that?
I believe so. I don't know if it was in Iowa or not, but I believe people have been convicted for raising money for like medical treatments where they weren't even sick.
I'm not aware of it. Got by me completely.
There was that one Australian chick who did that. That there was a Netflix documentary that I watched about that. But that's not here, so who knows what's the.
Yeah,
it might be one of those things where different laws are different in different states too.
But her voice is pleasant. It's so nice to be able to listen to somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're not going there.
Well, that's another thing. I wonder if he was on the track team but was suspended, but still showed up to the track meet for his team
because of the weapons thing. He might have been suspended,
and maybe that's why he was not sitting with his team, because he wasn't supposed to be there. Maybe that's why he was in somebody else's tent.
Interesting theory.
It is just a theory.
It could be. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, what I understand from Dominique. Oh gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this. But Dominique said that there's no doubt that Karmelo was there as part of the team activities. In other words, he was supposed to be there.
Yeah. But I don't believe that guy as far as I can throw him. So,
I tend to believe him on this one. And therefore, if that's true, he not necessarily competing, but he was there maybe to like part of the equipment deal or something, but he was supposed to be there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just wondering if maybe he was on the track team but was not allowed to compete because of some sort of school issue.
Amy Coney Barrett nearly held Jasmine Crockett in, I know, by the way, Graham is one of my best of all subscribers, but I don't know if I have the gumption to investigate that.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of hours and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's juicy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep seeing Kenosha Cat's name, and I have to tell you, Kenosha Cat, I grew up in Chicago, and a big deal for me as a kid is we would take a road trip up, up to Wisconsin to Kenosha and go to the Mars Cheese Castle. And I miss that place a lot. We used to go to Kenosha all the time as a kid. She knows what I'm talking about, I'm sure.
Are you familiar with that?
I'm sure she does. Everybody knows the Mars Cheese Castle.
And then Scamanda, is that the name of the show?
I think maybe the Amanda was the name of the girl who was collecting money for cancer. There was a Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I do think that he pronounces his name Dominique. I'm gonna die on that hill.
Yep.
Oh yeah. We heard that he shot these people in the back, and that's the part I think that could get him in trouble legally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the name of the documentary was Scamanda.
Oh, okay. And by the way, Joseph Rosenbaum, the first attacker, was technically shot in the back because he was lunging forward, and the bullet went through his back down his spine.
Yeah.
So technically, yeah, he was shot in the back, but he was
shot in the front first.
Yeah. I also have a video on that, by the way. Okay, let's see what else we got here.
She's been to the Mars Cheese Castle. I know it. I can tell. Everybody in Kenosha, I think in that whole area of the country, has probably been there.
It is theft if you don't use the money for the specified reason in the GoFundMe. Okay, that probably varies from state to state.
Yeah.
But okay, that makes sense. I'm just not sure of it. Okay, Scamanda, right. Get Schroeder out of retirement. Oh, Judge Schroeder. Who I think is great, by the way.
He retired, huh? I
Yeah,
didn't realize that.
He did. Officer Shevsky. Oh, that was the officer that shot Jacob Blake, I believe.
Oh. As he was trying to kidnap those kids.
Yeah, right.
I've been to Lake Geneva a lot too. I like that area too.
I'm not familiar with it. I've only been to Wisconsin once. I think the town was Appleton.
Oh, there was that stabbing there.
Oh, okay.
It was a big case last summer, I think.
And there was a river there named, it was heavily polluted. I forget the name of it. Okay. I was there to learn MATLAB.
Oh, okay.
Those of you geeks out there will know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Honest student can never be guilty.
Yeah. It is a tourist town. I used to go up there. A friend of mine's mother made like arts and crafts, and she would go up there to sell her goods to the different little tourist stores. Lake Geneva.
Oh, Lake Geneva.
And while she was doing that, my friend and I would walk around the lake and go to the little shops and stuff.
Johnny, you are good at refeeding my terrible data. I'm not sure what that means, but okay.
She says, Johnny, you are good at reading my terrible data entry. That's what that says.
Okay, look. Okay. Look, you're going to have to spell correctly when I've had enough of this.
You know what's funny? This person is actually an English teacher. She's just using talk to text. So,
oh, I see. I got it.
Oh, I think I am confusing it with the Apple River.
The Apple River. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one. I need to come and visit. You know what I have? I'm going to try to get up there at some point. Grambo's invited me too. So I do need to get up to Kenosha. And I'd like to meet up with Dominic, who I've talked to for a number of years now and never have actually met him.
You can have lunch at the Mars Cheese Castle. I'm telling you, it's worth the trip.
And I'm going to have to go up there and take some money off of her husband in pool. 7 times in the back. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's the Jacob Blake deal. Yeah. The Apple River. That's the one.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of.
It was a beautiful river. And I said, well, how come there's nobody on the river? Said, oh, it's all polluted. That's so much for that. William Defoe. Okay. Okay. Jeff Metcalf's dad is being handled by government agency called Blackmails Winning to silence. Okay. Okay. Wait. Maybe you can comment on that, but I can't quite parse that. Sorry.
I think it's a joke.
I guess so. Appleton is nowhere near the Apple River. Then what the hell river was it? I do know that it ran by Appleton. No, I'm not going to get on Grambo's bike. I've never been on a motorcycle in my life. And by the way, I should say Grambo and Dominic's mother, Kenosha Cat, became really good friends, and they are both bikers.
Oh, the river near Appleton is the Fox River.
Yeah, that's it. The Fox.
Which is weird because I've been like the Fox River goes into Illinois, and I've been on that river. Oh, maybe it's a different Fox River. I think it's a different Fox River. I don't think it's connected.
Yeah. Grambo's and Kenosha Cat's motorcycles are amazing. They're truly incredible looking works of art. But I've never been on a motorcycle in my life, and nope, you ain't going to get me on one. I'm definitely a truck fan. Okay, so good night. The Fox River. Yeah, that's it. Okay, Graham. Let me see what we got here. Is that MATLAB? Okay, never mind. Okay, look. He always pesters me with lots of like code and stuff, and I do pretty well though, Graham. I mean, you have to admit, the government has a program to silence white victims of black crime, and it's not a joke. Whoa. Okay. I mean, that's interesting. What do you think?
I'm gonna have to dig into that. I don't know anything about that. I might have to get out my tinfoil hat first and then dig into it.
So, Kenosha Cat, do you go out into the Fox River and swim? MATLAB, yeah, okay. It's been a few years. In fact, that was in 2002. Yeah. And I think we're just about done. No. I'm not going to Illinois. No interest in that. I've been to Illinois before. I've been to Evanston.
Okay.
In fact, I applied for a tenure track position as a professor at University of Illinois, Evanston.
Okay.
And it was horrible because I did my presentation. I had my little like thumb drive. Actually, I don't know if it was a thumb drive back then, but they had an Apple computer, and I plugged in. I didn't know how to operate the Apple. So here I am in my interview doing my presentation to show how great of an instructor I am, and I couldn't figure out how to use the computer. I didn't get the job. I think that was a professor of physics position. Okay, I actually don't blame Karmelo Anthony's parents for having the dad leave, but it should have been left alone at the. Okay, that's a good point. What do you think about that? I mean, they threw Austin Metcalf's dad out of the press conference.
Yeah. I think if they would have, I kind of agree with One Wild and Crazy Guy. That if they would have just had somebody go up to him and be like, hey, the family would be more comfortable if you would just watch this on the TV and not be in the room. And I assume he would have just left quietly because that seems like the type of guy he is. He wouldn't have pitched a fit or anything. That probably would have been fine.
Above all, don't raise it up as a point of contention during the press conference.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Exactly.
I mean, that's the kind of thing you downplay.
That's people wanting to score points and not caring what the actual truth is. That's point scoring.
Well, that and maybe also a person who just doesn't know how to do the job. You're a spokesperson. I know that by the way, I do have a video on the NJAN, the Next Generation Activist Network.
If you want to play that, I'm going to log off though, because it's already almost 11:30. But if you want to keep this going, because you have a bunch of people here, feel free.
Okay, I might. And I really appreciate you coming on. It's been great. And thanks for bringing all your subscribers.
Well, a few of them showed up, but yeah, I appreciate your people checking my channel out too. I'll be live. What day is today? Monday. I'll be live Wednesday night at 8:00.
Yeah, my subscribers should go over to KTZED on YouTube and subscribe.
Way less highbrow. We're just going to watch body cam videos and make fun of criminals on Wednesday night and probably drink some beers. So, but it's a good time.
Nothing strange ever happens during those events, right?
It's a fun hangout is what it is. So join the chat. We have a good chat over there. So
it is. It's a lot of fun. I watch it all the time.
Yeah. I'll see you around the internet.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Take care. Oh my gosh. And so I can stay on a little bit longer. In fact, I have another video that we can watch. And then about another hour, I'm going to have to hit the sack too. But let's go to this one. Let's see here. Wait a minute. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. This is I think it's 12-member panel of a bunch of people who have no clue. Here we go.
Well, can I just say one thing? I just want to answer your question. Who killed who or whatnot. Kyle Rittenhouse was 17 years old, white boy that murdered two or three black kids in Michigan during a protest. He was acquitted on all charges.
Okay, so the amount of misinformation per unit time is extremely high. So let's see here. Kyle Rittenhouse murdered 2 or 3, she's not sure, black kids, right? They're kids in Michigan. Hang on. Now, all the others are going to jump in and say, oh, are you kidding me? That's all wrong. No, you got it all wrong. Yeah, watch.
Jordan Penny, I think that's his name. He choked out that black homeless man on a train.
Yeah, Jordan Penny choked out that dude on a train. Oh my gosh. By the way, I'm sorry, but this is cultural appropriation. What's this? Come to think of it, she's got some of that cultural appropriation going too.
New York recently was also acquitted of charges. So, and I guess
neither one of those was killed. Stop.
You know, but he was pointing out like why there could be. I know you don't think it's true, but there could be like a sense of white power supremacy in this country, because sometimes when white people do certain crimes, they're not held to the same extent as black people or other people do. And so you were asking him to give names. I gave you 2, and one was actually the same age as the guy, the black boy that just killed the white guy. And he was acquitted of all his charges. He was also a 17-year-old white boy in Wisconsin. And it's like, well, why was he acquitted when he actually murdered someone? You all are saying that,
because they didn't murder anybody.
Now keep in mind, Anton Daniels, who actually hosts this chat, he's going to jump in, but he's not even going to correct her, because I don't think he knows that Kyle Rittenhouse shot white dudes.
They did, though. What do you mean?
No,
Kyle
they
Rittenhouse
didn't.
definitely murdered 2 or 3 people. Are you familiar with the story?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so you can't just make that statement then.
So I absolutely can, because if the court of law determined that they was acquitted of the charges, then that means that he's not a murderer.
No, that means that the system worked in his favor based on who he was, because that wouldn't have worked.
You can't just automatically say somebody is when they not, when they got.
Okay, so 10 people, sorry, not 12, but 10 people listening to her, not a single one of them stepped forward and said, Kyle shot white dudes, and they weren't kids, and it was not in Michigan. This is the problem. Is this not the problem? Totally misinformed. Now, some of them might be a little bit shy. Maybe they know better and they just don't want to say anything. Okay, that may happen, but I would expect out of 10 people, at least one of them to step forward and correct her, but they don't. Okay, let's see here. What we got? Hang on. Tell me this isn't real. It's real. Sorry, it's real. By the way, how's Dominic? I think I actually talked to him on text just a couple days ago. I think he's doing pretty well. Yeah, slightly. Okay, well, I think I got rid of it. Using the internet is cultural appropriation. The internet was invented by CERN, the actual the big laboratory, the physics laboratory in Switzerland. And it's considered to be the largest electronic apparatus in the world. And CERN is where they do a lot of particle experiments. They discover new particles and stuff like that. No, I have never done anything with CERN. But are they white? Predominantly. I mean, they are. Large numbers of them are Jewish. Now, whether they're white or not, that's up to you. I'm not going to get involved in that. Oh, there it is here. Oh, yeah, that's right. Hey, we're all a little bit spoiled. Guys, I'm a little tired and I have to actually work tomorrow morning too. I have a full-time job. Believe me, I'm not paying my bills with this. I make about $30 a month in advertising revenue. You know, I take my wife out for dinner a couple of times and we're good. So I want to appreciate, what am I saying? I want to thank everybody for showing up. I really appreciate it. Go to my channel, subscribe. I think you'll love my work. And go to KTZED's channel and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I think most of you already have. And if you're interested in the Kyle Rittenhouse deal, go check out my latest interview with Dominic Black, Kenosha Cat's son. Really interesting deal. Oh, I forgot to mention. Guess what he said? This is great. He said that Binger, the prosecutor, asked him if he would be willing. Let's see, how'd that go? Oh, darn. I lost my train of thought there. Oh, crap. I forgot. At any rate, I have a video, a shorts video on a claim made by Dominic Black about Binger, and it is a mind blower. And yeah, you really ought to check that out. It concerned the admissibility of evidence. So what happened is that the CVS video that Kyle Rittenhouse, actually it was Dominic that recorded about those protesters at the CVS video that Judge Schroeder threw out, said inadmissible. Binger tried to get Dominic Black to go on the stand and bring it up to the jury. Can you believe that? I should take this off. Yeah, the CVS video footage that the judge had already ruled as inadmissible. Binger tried to get Dominic to bring up in front of the jury, which is a gross violation of protocol. So I have a video on that. During the live stream I did with Dominic, he said that's what happened. And I tend to believe him. Binger is a real work of art. At any rate, thanks everybody. I really appreciate you coming on. Go and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you around next time.